And we're back, bitches.
Yes, sir. With a guest in tow this week.
Hey,
Yeah. Mike, how do you say your last name?
Schertenlieb.
It is Scherten. All right. God damn it. I thought it was Shretten. It's been a little bit of a bet going on. I'm like, all right, I'll just ask him on air how you actually fucking say it.
I was going to correct you when you said it earlier, but I thought it'd just be funny to let you muffle it through it for the opening here.
No, man, it just looks complicated. It isn't actually. Sure. 10. Lieb.
All right, fair enough.
German? All German as hell as a fellow
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
guy.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, what do you know, like, what it is, or
Only kind of.
all right.
Like on some weird Ellis Island stuff. Who actually knows, you know what I mean?
I'm German too, actually, but on my mom's side, it's Doolittle, like Dr. Doolittle, which is a German name. That's what Dr. Doolittle is.
I didn't know that was a German name.
Yep, pretty sure. Or I'm talking shit.
Am I the third? Am I the third one? Am I way quieter than y'all?
I don't know.
Do I need to project my voice?
You good? Just get in there.
Just get in there.
No, you're fine.
Cool.
I'm gonna mute you anyway. So
So it'll be like last week with no guests.
that's right.
Getting the Newstead treatment on
Yeah,
here. For sure.
yeah, for real.
So Mike finally got to play a drum set with more than 2 toms, like a real man.
For the
He's
first
fine.
time in my whole life.
And he's walking around with a massive erection now.
So many times. There are 100 times
It's
in this
stupid.
house.
It's very stupid. I know. And part of the fun is, like, I'd never really set it up like that until it's like, well, I'm just gonna go all the way in and just make it be stupid, you know?
I'm trying to think. So if you have 3, counting the E kid, if you have 3 kids in this house,
Yeah.
and I have 5 or 6 kids in my
Yeah.
apartment,
Nice.
Oh, Jesus.
I think you have more toms than I do.
That's right. You got more kick drums, which is
I got way
better.
more kick drums.
Yeah. I do. There's another little kit down there that's not set up as well. That's my little, I call it my trap kit, which is just like I'm playing like shitty hip hop lo-fi, like,
Yeah.
you know, like it, you know, it intentionally sucks. But actually, I was talking to my friend Nick Hagan. Shout out to Nick, who's been on the pod a bunch of times, and we do music and shit. And we've been talking about doing some like lo-fi loops and shit, and actually like making them, and then like trying to sell them or whatever, or at least like packaging them up, and even just giving them away to our friends or whatever. And then I was like, man, you know, fucking my boy Mike, I know he's got a bunch of kits with a bunch of like random toms, and like he's always putting them together in weird configurations and
this
shit.
is true.
And I was like, if we do it, I'm gonna hit him up.
Yeah, cool. Do it. I would love to make some stuff like that.
I thought that'd be fun. Just do like set up for a day or something, and like just set up a weird kid and just do like couple beats, you know, couple fills or whatever, and then break that down and set it up again or something, you know what I mean? Like some other totally different kit. And
Stack
like,
some cymbals up, put some weird shit on snare drums.
Exactly. Just kind of like make some, you know, set up a fucking click track and just make some lo-fi loops. And
That sounds like a blast.
It would be fun, right? All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, you tell me when and where.
All right. That's tomorrow.
Oh, well, I got a show tomorrow, so no.
Do you? No, obviously I'm joking, but where are you playing at tomorrow?
The Deck in Muskegon.
Oh, nice. We were just talking about the deck. Yeah.
Right on the beach. I've played there a couple of times, but Flex has never played there before.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. It looks pretty cool to play there. I mean, I've been there a shitload of times, but like it seems like
Yeah, it's
fun.
pretty cool. Decent PA, good sound guy.
The sound guy is cool. Does it get hot in that stage? Because it's like a shipping container. I mean, I know it's open on the front, but
No.
I kind of wondered that. Like,
I'm trying to remember
the sun beating down on that fucker.
the first time I played there, maybe beginning of last summer or even the summer before, and I want to say it was a pretty hot day, and it was not
okay.
oppressive in the box.
Yeah, right. I wondered that. I was like, man, those guys got to be dying in that fucking thing. It's just like a metal box.
Well, and honestly, kind of surprising to me, because I thought even going in that like the sound quality playing inside it would be really bad.
Right. Same. Yeah.
But I think they did a bunch of, I don't know what it's called, but it's like acoustic treatment spray.
Oh, like foam kind of shit.
Not
or
even
something,
foam. It's like paint.
Okay.
but kind of textury and does so I think it's like
almost rubber maybe or something.
Yeah, but it's not quite like you're not just inside a raw metal box or
it's
whatever.
Flex Seal. They went
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Billy Mays here.
But it's however it is that they've treated it.
Yeah.
It both sounds okay in there.
That's cool.
And isn't a bazillion degrees.
Yeah, they got some killer fucking cover bands in there, man. Sometimes I've been there, I'm like, these guys are fucking good.
Yeah.
You know, bands out of Chicago and shit that are like really laying down some shit.
Oh, yeah.
I saw this band there. They were doing all kinds of sweet shit, and they came out and did a Rob Zombie song, and I'm a huge Zombie fan, but they came out in like full like zombie costumes and shit, and did like Dragula and what's the other, like Super Beast or whatever the fuck. And I know you're like, it's like 4 or whatever, it's 7 o'clock and the sun's shining and people are drinking, and I'm just like, man, these guys are choice.
This is a lot to handle.
There's a lot to handle.
Loved it though. It was like they're just going all the way in.
Full commitment to
That's
the bit.
awesome. Well played on their part.
Yeah, that's badass. You guys are playing there.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, right now.
Should be fun.
So you were also saying you don't know who the damn Yankees are, and we got to talk about that a little bit.
I knew it was a band. I just don't know any of their music.
Because if you listen to last week's episode, I have uncovered the hat. The infamous hat has been found in the fucking in the boxes in the garage. I had to dig through about 4 boxes before.
Well worth
the
the time spent. Dude, that thing's a treasure to be sure.
It is. First of all, it's fucking. Well, I have a huge goddamn head anyway, but it's like tiny. First of all, it's fucking ridiculously tiny. Like I got it set on the very last. it's barely holding itself together.
Is that a child's hat?
Probably. It's for 16-year-old girls. Is the damn Yankees are. No, the damn Yankees was a fucking Ted Nugent supergroup from back in the day. It's the Nuge. We looked it up. I mean, we knew it was the Nuge and Tommy Shaw.
Okay.
And
from
some
Styx,
yep,
right?
mm.
On the drummer from Night Ranger,
Yeah,
I wanna say it
some
was.
shit like that.
Night Ranger cameo. Yeah, last week was an unapologetic deep dive into all things damn Yankees. It was the podcast that people have been demanding since the late 80s when you get right down to it.
The Nuge called in. He made an appearance on the show, said some racist shit, dipped out.
So it's like late 80s like power rock then?
Yes.
You know the high enough. Can you take me high?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's damn Yankees.
Only on key.
Oh, interesting.
And others. So this is the same discussion we had last week. Like, everybody knows that song, you know?
Yeah. That's so weird.
Yep. So anyway, the hat, it lives. And I found another hat too. I should have brought that down too. It's just a random hat that just says Canada on it. I was like, yes. These hats all came out of fucking did you ever go to Value Land in Muskegon back in the day? Yeah,
oh yeah.
All the time. Well, that's where this came from. This is one of the greatest fucking finds at Value Land.
Next to Kmart?
Yep.
I don't think there's any one of about it, my friend. It is the find to end all finds.
You're right.
There,
you're right. I also have a hat that came out of there that I think is at my brother's, and it says Dirty Dick the Dirt Hauler on it. And I'm like, and I've been bitching at him to same thing. It's like in a box in his basement. I'm like, dude, you got to find that hat for me.
I got to tell you a thrift store hat story.
Cool.
I don't remember if it was Value Land or a Goodwill, but I was young, maybe 12, 13 years old.
Right.
I found a hat with this very weird logo and said sausage on it and a shrimp with wings on the back. I didn't find out until later that is the rehashed version of the first Primus lineup.
Oh,
and
nice,
it's the Prawn Song logo on the back and their album cover.
Nice.
And I just bought it because it was a weird, quirky hat.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was about the same time that I kind of found Primus and got into Claypool music.
Right,
and
right.
Within a year, was like, what?
Oh my God.
I bought this hat. Yeah, it's like totally meant to be. It's just this really bizarre hat, but
that kind of sets the new standard in a lot of ways. If a band doesn't have a song-specific logo, it's no longer a band I'm interested in listening to.
Yeah. I don't know whatever happened to that, but it was sweet.
Oh, you don't got it anymore?
No.
Oh, that sucks.
No.
Man.
No.
Well,
I'd probably
it's not
describe
as
it.
cool as my damn Yankees hat.
No,
so
it's
pretty
not.
cool.
No, it's not.
It was so fucking dusty and shit. I got one of those lint roller things and was working on this bitch for like 10 minutes. It was so gross, and it's still fucking gross.
Get that damn Yankees hat in prime form, dude.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of fucking Ted Nugent sweat in it and shit.
It's been in the box since '89.
Seriously. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So fucking playing with Flex downtown. What else is going on? You're gigging like crazy. I'm saying
It's been a pretty wild summer.
yeah.
I think, well, I had one Friday off a few weeks ago. This is the first Friday evening off I've had since May or June,
Yeah,
probably.
we booked this a while back.
Yep.
We,
and you
looked
checked
at the
in like, you're like, hey, can I book a show yet?
Indeed. Yeah, seriously. Yeah,
We're
yeah.
a little gun shy at this point on the guest situation,
Yeah.
dude. It's been tenuous at best.
Yeah. No, lots of gigging, been doing some subbing. I went on a wild adventure and went and played with the Founders All-Star Band in Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, the Founders meaning
Like the brewery.
okay.
Yeah, the FBC All-Star Band. Their usual drummer, Scott Hickok, Scotty Rock from Moto,
Okay, yeah.
so
I know
shout out to
Scott.
Scotty.
Yeah, I know him.
got
Yeah.
COVID.
Oh, brutal.
And Brandino hit me up like 24 hours notice. And I crammed homework and I got on an airplane at 7:00 the next morning
Nice.
and went on a
man.
wild adventure. And it was
Doing work.
super
Nice.
fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So first time I'd ever like had to check a cymbal bag.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff.
What about the drums? Did they like have a backline to do or
kit.
something like that?
I brought
yeah.
cymbal and snares. Or
Gotcha.
cymbals and snare.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay. So what kind of music is it?
Oh, they're like a party band, so it's
Yeah.
like cover stuff.
Okay,
Everybody Wants to Rule the World
Yeah.
and Take on Me.
Yeah,
And I
okay.
Believe in a Thing Called Love.
Yeah.
I had to play Everlong, which is a hard song to play on the drums.
Yeah, that's a lot of hi-hat action going on
and
there.
the tom fills.
Oh, yeah,
the whole
that
thing.
bridge part.
Everlong
Yeah.
might still be my favorite song ever. I fucking love this.
It's a great tune.
Good song.
I like Foo Fighters, not in love with them. That song, man.
It just
Every time it
bangs,
comes on,
right?
it's just good, dude.
That whole record, man.
Yep.
That record's just a goddamn masterpiece.
Yeah, so that was super fun. It's been some festivals over the summer. I was at Pond Jam last weekend, which was a blast.
Damn.
Did Dunesville this year and Shagbark this year.
Wow. I've never heard of any of these things.
There's like Michigan hippie
Yeah,
festivals, you
that
know,
sounds like it.
jam bands and bluegrass
yeah,
bands. and
yeah,
stuff.
right. Everyone's like some weird like foresty name or something.
Oh,
like
they
that.
all are. Oh, they all are. Yeah, Dunesville is in Interlaken.
Okay.
Pond Jam is in Rapid City. Shagbark is what Cowpie was in Alaska.
Oh.
Like Alaska, Michigan,
yeah,
not
yeah.
Alaska,
Indeed.
the state.
Also in Alaska, the state.
Yes. So no, there's tons of fun. Like sleeping in a hammock.
Yeah.
Get to see a million friends.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
man.
good stuff.
Nice. Have you ever been to? You've probably been to Electric Forest, right?
I have not actually.
Yeah. Neither have I.
I went to both of the Rothberries in like 08, 09.
Yeah. Okay. Was that so? Wait. Was that before it turned into Electric Forest? then? Is
Yeah.
that- yeah. Okay.
I don't know exactly what the timeline is.
Yeah.
When I was fresh out of college, I went to Bonnaroo 2007.
Yeah. We talked
Remember
about that.
talking
Yeah,
about
we
that?
debated it. Yeah.
And then fell in love with festivals,
Yeah.
like the whole thing. Awesome that the following years, 8 and 9, were Rothberry, super close to my house.
Yeah.
Took a year off and then went to like 10 summer camps in Illinois in a row.
Damn.
So like kind of decided to do that even as they were building Electric Forest, just because like I'm more interested in funk bands
Right.
than
Okay. Yeah.
DJs.
Is that what a lot of Electric Forest is? It's very like
I
electronic.
think so.
and-
I think there's still some bands and String Cheese plays and all that.
I know
but
they had Snoop Dogg one year.
that was at one of the Rothberries.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Yeah.
And number 2.
Nice. Nice.
I
Should've went to that. God
I
damn.
really want to go to like one day of Electric Forest.
Yeah.
Mostly for art installations.
Yeah.
Like just to go look at the spectacle of the thing.
Well, the actual electric forest is supposed to be fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Take a bunch of fucking drugs and shit.
It's just like a big
rad.
psychedelic type fest too. That's
I would
kind of
imagine
the thing
so.
out
Yeah,
there. I think.
yeah.
I mean, all of them are.
Right.
Yeah.
To a degree.
You hitting any of that up out there? Doing a little mushrooms? or
I don't
anything out there?
know. Not anymore. I don't really mess with that. No.
Over that.
I have a hard enough time sleeping.
It's been a long time since I've done any of that, and we were actually talking about it kind of recently. Like, maybe we should fucking
Bust it back out and see how it
get
goes.
some shit and give it a go.
The kind of grandfather of all these hippie festivals is this weekend is Wheatland.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Where's that one at? We had friends
in
that used to
Remus.
go down there. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. I went to like 7 or 8 of those too.
Damn.
It's really fun. It's super chill.
Yeah.
It's like
It's bluegrass. A lot of bluegrass.
it's a lot of folk, a lot of bluegrass.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of really, really incredible kind of surprise acts there. There was one year that was like
ICP came up.
yeah, ICP. No, like Tejano accordion music.
Whoa.
They were killer.
Yeah.
And talking a lot about the history of the music and kind of how it came to be.
Right.
West Texas, Mexican population, German immigrant population. The music's kind of merged together.
Right.
I don't remember what they were called. And a handful of other like just kind of surprises, but it's a lot of folk, a lot of bluegrass.
Right. That shit's hard to play, man. Like bluegrass, like the actual all those guys playing mandolin and guitar and banjo and everything, like it is extremely difficult.
Mandolin trips me out. Mm-hmm. So many strings. The frets are so small.
Yeah.
How do you play that many notes?
Yeah.
The frets are like that big. They're so tiny.
Yeah. It's wild, man.
Yeah.
You ever try to play do you actually play guitar or anything?
No,
You don't really
no,
Man,
sir.
Dude, I fucking I had like a 5-string banjo, like a regular banjo for a while. And man, it's got that super high string on the top.
Okay.
And it just fucks me up, dude. I was like, this is not for me.
Were you trying to do the full like claw thing?
Yeah, like what? And like I had the fucking thumb pick and the whole deal, and like I'm getting out watching a couple videos and shit. Like I can learn to think. I'm not bad at the like picking, but like that fucking high string, and it's just like I don't know.
Sure.
The whole thing makes no goddamn sense, dude. Played guitar for so long that like to try to like switch it up was
Right.
just fucking, and then I ended up, and it's in here, my friend tried to buy a banjo, ended up buying a guitar joe or a bantar or whatever you want to call it. So it's a banjo but it's strung up like a guitar.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't want it, and I'm like, well, that's the fucking move.
Yeah.
So he sold it to me for like next to nothing. So I was like, sweet.
I have been only string instruments for me is about a year of ukulele.
Yeah,
That's about it.
Right
It's
here.
like I see it. It's sitting
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. Shout
And
out.
like I know some chord shapes.
Yeah.
I don't really sing, so I'm not like singing and playing.
Tiptoe through the tulips.
I don't know that one.
You don't tiptoe. What the fuck? It's that fucking dude. That's from the 80s or whatever. It's that weird. It's not Boy George.
No,
it's the other guy.
Tiny Tim.
Yeah,
I do know that
Tiptoe
song.
through
Yeah.
the tulip. Yeah. That's I'm pretty sure on. It's him and he's strumming the fucking. Yeah.
It's just been it's just like a little bit of introduction to melody world for me.
Yeah.
A pretty low barrier of entry. It doesn't tear your fingers up like a guitar.
Right.
My girlfriend's brother was getting rid of one. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, cool! I'll take
Fuck yeah, dude.
ukulele.
Nice.
I know
Yeah,
nothing about
yeah.
it." And then like a friend is like, "Oh, let me tell you, a couple of the chords, you only need one finger." And I'm like,
nice.
cool.
Maybe that's why it's set up that way. I don't know a lot about it either, but I got this one, and that one's a real one that actually you can play. Like
Sure.
these other things sitting here are kind of like pieces of shit.
Sure.
That was my first guitar ever, and it's all fucked up. But
Ain't got no strings on it.
No, it ain't got a lot going on. And then I have another one that's like a fucking pre-World War II Martin.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's not here. It's locked up elsewhere. It's actually worth quite a bit of money. Not like a preposterous amount of money,
Sure.
but like it's worth enough that.
I also have a very valuable Martin acoustic guitar.
Do you?
That I don't know how to play.
Really?
It's my grandfather's. Yeah.
Really? You hanging on to that? Or
Oh, it's forever.
you want to sell it to me?
Nope. No, I don't. No, the only way that thing's getting sold is if like literally every other option is exhausted, and it's like, well, you're either going to be homeless or you sell the Martin. Like all the drums are
jobs
already
on the
be
corner
gone.
of the street.
Yeah.
and sell the bar.
It's
Yeah.
like if that's not,
even then, it's a tough decision.
it's a
at
tough
that point,
choice.
you know?
Tough choice.
All right. Well, when that day comes,
I think it's
you come to me.
I think it's a 62 D28. Ooh. Yeah, it's magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I don't even know how to play it, but like I know a couple of chord shapes.
Yeah.
And you just pull it out and just strum it once, and you go, yeah.
Have you had like guitarists like check it out and stuff?
Yeah.
Like is it like still in like prime shape?
Oh,
and
yeah.
like because the neck can warp and shit can happen.
Yeah, and even after I started playing with Kyle Brown, who has himself a couple of pretty nice modern Martins.
Right.
I was showing it to him, and he was like,
yeah,
okay, and took all the tension off of it and sent me the link for the little Diodario humidifier packs and was like, this is how you take care of an old guitar.
Nice.
I was like, thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
Because I just had it sitting in the case, tuned up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. There's a argument about that, about string tension on a neck.
Sure.
People will like... I don't know. It's definitely an argument. Like, it's meant to have tension on it.
Right.
That's what the truss rod's there for. It's kind of that balances out and stuff.
Right.
Then other people are like, no, if you're going to store it long term, you should take the tension off. And I'm like, well, then it could kind of, obviously you could probably readjust it with the truss rod, but so I don't know.
But you would, without the tension, something else is putting force the other way.
It's now it's not made to be what it's supposed to be.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I just I showed it to Kyle, and he was like, all right, this is what you got to do.
Well, that's probably for the best.
I'm like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, indeed.
I don't even play guitar, so you tell me.
That's badass. That you need to. Well, you should let me borrow it. You need to get it on records.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
legitimate players that it's not going to break your shit or whatever.
Right.
Like somebody's in the studio or whatever. Like fucking.
That's a
get
good
that thing
idea.
Out there.
I wonder, we're doing Human Condition recording this winter.
You're gonna have to write some on acoustic just
Yeah.
to.
Well, and Kyle does play some acoustic on some of the tunes.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll want to use that one.
Fuck yeah, man! Bring it in.
He's got his own 28 and 18, I think, too.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I love Martins and I have one, but I'm terrible with the model numbers and shit. I can't.
I'm just like memorization.
Yeah.
I couldn't pick one out of a lineup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People ask me, what's yours? And I'm like, I don't know. I still don't know. I've had it like 15
Guitar?
years. I'm like, I don't know. I picked it out. It was sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to get another one, but you were talking about your Rogers kit a little bit ago.
Yeah.
So what's the deal? You said you took a long time to research it and find the one you want.
It's a red onyx mid 60s holiday.
What's holiday mean?
Holiday is it's just like a series, like any
Gotcha.
whatever. And it's actually the kick drum and the rack tom are holiday. The floor tom is a power tone,
But it's the same.
but they're the same finish.
Okay.
And what took me so long why it took me so long to find it is I wanted 2012-16.
Yeah.
And I think in those days, 2012-14
Yeah, that's
or 24-13-16
Right.
was kind of the thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I found it in 2012-16 in the finish that I wanted.
I do like a 13 and a 16 though. Is a nice.
13s are a little bit big for me.
It is a little big for the actual playing of it,
Yeah.
but the sound, like the what do you call it? Like the interval between them or whatever.
And I've got
is nice.
I've got that 12 tuned real low.
Yeah.
Real low and
Nice.
thuddy.
You put coated heads on it?
It's got coated heads on it. I'm weird about heads. I'm like, other than super kick twos on bass drums, I don't really give a shit.
I don't care.
I just kind of don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, and now all the time, be like, no, I don't think I've used that one, and just buy a couple and put them on. Or
Yeah,
any
indeed.
kit I'm playing will have
Yeah.
3 different brands of heads on it or whatever.
Right. And obviously it makes a difference, but it's it's not as big of a difference as the actual drum itself.
Maybe.
No, yeah.
Maybe. I would say in some ways it's the opposite.
Okay.
People think drums themselves make a much larger tonal difference than they actually do.
Because you're actually hitting the head, and it's the heads that are vibrating.
It's like the head, the bearing edge is what's going on, where the point of contact of the head.
Yeah.
But it's the head, it's the tuning, it's the sticks, it's your hands.
Interesting.
There was a thing maybe a year or two ago now. Mike Johnston and Mike Dawson used to do this Modern Drummer podcast, and they would do some of these like shootouts.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
or there's Mike shootouts or whatever.
Yep.
And really interesting, they like did an experiment with both Gretsch drums, 12-inch rack toms. One of them is a modern Brooklyn or USA Custom or something.
Yeah.
And then a straight up like round badge 60s. Use the TuneBot, exact same frequency, exact same tension at every lug, same heads, same microphones, everything. And when you watch the video, it kind of sounds different. And when you just hear the audio, it doesn't.
You can't tell.
You can't tell.
Close your eyes. There's no fucking difference.
And like this weird, like, look at the old vintage Sparkle one.
Yeah.
It sounds warm. Like,
It's like the
does
old
it?
JFK debate back in the day
Yeah.
for the audio only on the radio versus the video.
It's very strange.
Yeah, we talked to Russell Olmsted, the guitar builder, here about that with guitars, and it's kind of the same thing about pickups are so much more important than like the wood and shit. It's
Yeah.
kind of like then it's the same thing. These guys are ripping apart guitars and like, you know, like this guy literally puts pickups on 2 sawhorses and puts
Exactly.
the fucking thing, and it's like, oh, this sounds not any discernible difference from my fucking 62 Telly.
Right.
You know, it's like it's all the pickups and the strings, you know, like
And your hands.
yeah, of course, yeah,
You know,
but
the
especially
actual,
with the playing, yeah.
Yeah.
And but Russell was saying like some other things about the wood and stuff. He had some. I'm sure he knows what he's talking about. He obviously doesn't, but it's very interesting to find out like what actually makes the tone. you know?
Yeah. And to me, man, I barely notice a difference. Like from playing one wood type or shell thickness to the next. Like
Right.
to me, it's like how it's tuned and how it feels.
Yeah.
You know? And like, don't get me wrong, like gear is fucking sweet.
Yeah, for sure.
And like
Yeah,
having
yeah.
a lot of it is
Yeah.
cool. And
Yeah. And when it's old, it's cool because it's old. It's not
cool because it's
Yeah,
old, and
yeah.
there's something, even if it's subconscious, like something vibey.
Yeah, for sure,
about
for sure.
all that stuff. Like
Yeah, the
all
history
that's
of it,
wonderful.
man. Yeah, it's survived and yeah.
But sometimes when people like get really, really stuck on, well, it's got to be birch, not maple. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
you're like,
does it?
yeah, okay,
Okay, buddy.
yeah. It's like, yeah, they're still gonna sound great, or
or just
if
like
you're not-
hit
yeah,
it.
like,
Does it
yeah,
sound good?
exactly,
Like worry
yeah.
less.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
worry less, play more. You know.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's
And
a
like
lot.
to me, spend all your money on cymbals
yeah,
because those sound how they sound.
true.
You know, they were made by a person and they're all different and they change over time. Like the molecules rearrange over
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And they oxidize and all that cool stuff.
patina and stuff. And,
So
yeah.
like I would much rather play a $50 CB 700 drum set that's tuned and muffled the way I like it.
yeah,
And a nice snare
killer
drum
cymbals,
and
yeah.
great cymbals.
Yeah.
And honestly, even like a junky snare drum, put a wallet on it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like,
Dude, I got a piece of shit snare drum that I fucking love the
Yeah.
sound of it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like it just fucking, it's made out of goddamn like, it's like not even wood. It's some sort of particle, you know, it's like some sort of particle board. It's like a press.
It's just half glue.
Yeah. And that fucking thing just like, yeah, it's just got its vibe, you
Yep.
know? So, yeah. What kind of cymbals? I mean, like, I know you got a lot of different shit. Like,
do.
you all over the place, or do you got
pretty
like,
all over the place.
Okay, so different brands.
I like vinyl stuff a lot.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah. Never really fucked with them. I've never really played any in any real capacity. I've hit a few at a store or whatever.
The main stuff that I use are a couple of Byzance crashes and a transition ride. It's a 21-inch ride that's like raw on top and polished on the bottom. But most of the time I'm playing Zildjian 15-inch hollow logo Zildjian hats.
I remember I commented on a video because I was like, "What the fuck are those hats? They sound amazing."
Like, yes, they do. I love those.
yeah.
No, I'm kind of all over the place. I've got some Sabian stuff too. For whatever reason, I don't have any Pisces stuff.
Yeah, well, for one reason, it's expensive.
Well, sure, but so is all the rest of it.
Yeah. They're fucking, if you especially buying it new, man, pasty shit's fucking woo.
I think part of it for me too is like, I like grimy, kind of low pitched, dirty sounding cymbals. So like that A custom
Yeah.
glass, like in a lot of the Peisty
like
stuff.
That one down there, that A Custom's real bright.
That
and
bright, polished, even Peisty stuff has that kind of glassy quality.
For sure. Yeah.
And there's something about that I don't like.
Yeah.
Like when other people play it, cool. But when I'm playing and I hit it, I'm like, it's not the sound I want.
There's a certain like style that shit works for though.
Totally.
Too. Like I mean, like that's what Danny Carey plays, and it works like a lot of that proggy shit it works for, and also like I don't know, like fusion-y, like when you got that like fast decay and it is shimmery, and then like I'm thinking of like I don't even know what he plays, but like something like the guy from Dave Matthews Band, like that sort of style or something.
Yeah,
like,
Carter.
Yeah.
I don't know what he plays either.
Oh yeah,
Seljan, I think.
Probably.
Yeah,
he probably plays whatever the hell he wants. But,
yeah, it's and like I never ever clean my cymbals ever.
Right.
Never ever. Like let my hand oils like bury it in the dirt. Right. That'd probably sound better. You know what I mean?
I like to clean my what do you call them? The shiny ones,
like
the
brilliant,
the brilliant ones.
Yeah,
like the A Customs on that one kit down there. Those I've cleaned.
Sure.
I have a fucking Zildjian ride from the '60s. That's I cleaned it up a little bit because it was so fucking bad. It was so bad I had to clean it up some. But I think you'd really like that fucking. I bought it for doing like, it's a 22 and it like just fucking for rock. Like you just fucking like. And it is dark because it's it's almost like looks almost silver now.
Probably
it's
super
so
thick
old
too.
It's thick and you just beat the shit out of it and like I bought it when I was doing some rock like kind of I don't know I guess just rock shit on a record.
Yeah,
and I was playing actually my brother's kit that's a 13 and a 16.
Yep.
So I had that and that big ass fucking thing and a pair of 15-inch hats.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I don't have
Power.
that I wish, man, just like the biggest shit. I wish I had some bigger crashes, like a 19, and like,
it's so funny, man. When I was young, it felt like 16s and 17s were just like standard, and now anything smaller than an 18, I'm like, what's that splash symbol doing there?
Yeah, like 16s, like like when we were coming up too, like playing, it was always like you had like a 16, kind of up here would be kind of standard, and now like. Yeah, I don't want anything like
18, 20 usually for me.
And like it used to be too, looking for them, like you could buy 19s and shit pretty cheap because nobody wanted them kind of like it wasn't. And now like you can't even fucking find them because they're so popular. They're like trying to even like reverb one up and shit. They're super expensive because everybody wants these huge cymbals. They're like really in, I think, the last like 5 years in metal and stuff.
I just think they play better.
Yeah.
Like there's something too, like they feel better. Like, give me a thin 20-inch crash.
Really?
That feels the best. Like butter.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I want. I want to replace on the acrylic kit down there, my 18 that's kind of up over the ride. I want to put a 20 there. Yeah. That's it. Because the fucking ride on that's
24. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And that thing's fucking awesome, though. Sounds great. You
know? I've had my eye on, Meinl makes these Big Apple dark rides. They're like real jazzy, smoky kind of cymbals. They're like Istanbuls or whatever.
I wish I had more of that kind of shit too.
And they're super thin, and they make a 24. But oh my god, it's like $700 or whatever. You know what I mean? Oh, they're all handmade. It's so much bronze. It's this huge thing. I want one so bad, but I'm like,
I got that 24 for like $200.
Nice.
I know
it's a lot of bronze.
Well, and I was looking for a 22. I just wanted a 22A ping ride. And again, like I couldn't. They were out there, but they're super expensive. And I came across this one dude selling this 24.
He's like, nobody wants it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Well, I talked to my brother about it, and I've told the story on here a little bit. And my brother was telling me that the dude from Journey played all those hits and shit. It was a 24. So it's kind of like a little bit of famous thing there that he's this big proprietor of the 24. And I was like, it's good enough for fucking Journey. It's good enough for me. Yeah.
The mighty Steve Smith.
Yeah. So all those fucking like huge Journey hits from that era were all fucking like played on that cymbal. Yeah, so I was like, well, that'll work, and I fucking love it, you know.
You gotta have a big old counterweight on the arm.
No, but I mean, it's fucking like, you know, it's solid DW hardware there. It's, you know,
with the legs all the way out.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. I mean, that one's she's got her own stand there. That's that thing's a fucking beast. But sounds really good. I really like it.
My first kit, actually, it came with really nice cymbals. It was. A friend of mine bought it from the high school music, like the high school drum instructor.
Right. Okay.
So was like a relatively nice drum set that I then bought from him with a Z power ride. That's basically a.
Does that have the huge bell on it?
It's not the mega bell.
Okay, yeah.
But same idea, like no lathing. It looks like a Spartan shield from 300. And I hated it.
Yeah.
I had it on the kit because I thought that's what a drum set looks like. Like you're supposed to have a ride. And I just never played it, like ever.
It's like tang, tang,
yeah.
tang.
Oh my God. Yeah. So obnoxious.
That trash canny, like a lot of those, like, again, like those metal kind of, I don't know. There's.
Yep.
Would be playing that kind of shit. Like, you ever play those like Rude? Who's making the Rude? Oh
yeah, those are feisty.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah. I can't do it just because of the name. They may sound amazing, but I'm like, no, I'm not.
Those are silly cymbals too, man. Super thick.
Yeah. I've always wanted, because fucking Danny Carey is my favorite drummer, and he's got that signature ride with Pasty. You seen that?
Yeah,
it's purple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they make the blue Stu Copeland one too.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So that's kind of like a thing they're doing.
Yeah, with like the color anodized or however that works.
Mm-hmm. Stuart Copeland's a bad motherfucker in his own way.
Is.
Very different than Danny Carey. It's funny, like,
yeah.
But in some ways not. I'm sure Danny Carey's a big fan of that shit.
He is.
Like, Danny Carey is actually like a fusion player who kind of like fell into this thing that's kind of metally or whatever.
Yeah.
If you will, and that's kind of why it's so awesome, because he's very much like this fusion guy who's super into I don't know, the names escape me right now and shit, but like he plays in like fusion bands like outside of that band, like all over LA and
What's the one other band that he plays in? I can't remember.
Yeah,
it's got a really wacky name.
Yeah, there's a couple of them, but the fusion one is oh man, I could have told you until you asked me. You know what I mean? Like
something with a horse in the title.
I don't even know.
No,
I don't even know.
Yeah, but no, they're always playing all over fucking like around LA and shit.
That would be fun.
Yeah, one friend of mine's gone to see him a bunch of times out there because he's like a massive Danny Carey fan.
Nice.
And it's not like a big deal. Like, it's just like playing like the local club.
It's just a club, yeah.
And so like he's like hanging out with him out there and shit, like after the show and shit. So I'm like, that's fucking rad.
I'm trying to get myself into playing some more like fusion kind of music.
Yeah.
Whether that's like with other people or just like to stretch myself. I honestly haven't really had the time or energy to do it, but I've never really been one to learn by way of like learning a really difficult song.
Yeah.
Like I might like learn a piece of it or like learn music to perform, but like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I want to take some whatever wacky Herbie Hancock tune or Return to Forever tune and like really learn it front to back, even if it takes me 2 months to do it.
Right.
Just to get my head inside that, like playing that style of music or keeping track of time signature changes or whatever.
Yeah, that shit's wild. And so much of it too is like a lot of that stuff's just kind of like, not all of it or whatever, but a lot of it's improvised and stuff too. So it's like it's never the same. So like you're trying to learn this recording, but the guy who's actually playing it's just kind of like, no, you don't learn it like that. It's what you just kind of like do this thing, or whatever. That kit, the blue kit down there with all the toms, that's kind of like a fusion kit. That's really what that is, with all the little toms and the small hi-hats, and it had like 4 splash cymbals on it, which are kind of all over on the other kit now. But when I bought it all, I had the 4 splashes, shitload of different cymbals, which most of are broken now. It was all A customs. But the ride and the hats and those splashes still remain. But all the crash has been toasted through the years. And then it's got like the small tight kick drum, and I love it for what it is now. But when I was doing like metal stuff, that's the prog metal and whatever, that was the kit we were using, and like we wanted like a bigger kick drum and like the snare that's on it. And obviously it's not a big deal to switch the snare. We never used that snare because it's a thin, cracky, poppy kind of snare, and we wanted the fucking huge fat, so like that kit, that's kind of why I bought the other kit, is kind of like just got to a point where I'm like, I kind of want my dream kit. I can finally do it, like I'm in a position where I can buy what I want. So that's why I got the kit with the huge toms and big kick drum and all that.
Well, and even like we were saying a minute ago about that the gear sort of doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There is definitely something to be said With really any instrument, maybe not so much like bass guitars, but to a point of like the kind of tools for the job.
Yeah.
That like, yeah, cool. Shells are shells.
Yeah.
But sizes kind of make a difference, or like
that kick drum, that 20, it's sweet, but it's tight, and like it sounds good mic'd up, but like if you put that just next to like my brother's 22-inch DW, that's kind of the same drum, same finish basically, it's just not the fucking same.
Yep.
You know, like that drums just doesn't have the ugh behind it that, you know, that other thing does. And it's like, and when you're playing like rock, you know, like, so that was always a bit of a like, God damn it, you know.
22 seem big to me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like a small
I've got 122 and 118 and 3 20s.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So my probably like that 20.
Yeah, my Pearl kit's a 20, my Sonar kit's a 20, and my Rogers kit's a 20.
Yeah. But again, you're kind of doing that, like, that would make sense. You're playing, you know, in flexidecibel, and you love funk.
Hip hop, yeah.
That's what that kit down there is like. So it was like, that's amazing for that, but like we were trying to do fucking Tool, and it just wasn't cutting it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And honestly,
like,
to me, it's about feel. It's like with a smaller bass drum, the tom is kind of lower, or doesn't have to be quite so hooked up above your big bass drum.
A huge benefit.
You can kind of get your cymbal stands in closer. It's like, and everything's right in front of you.
Yep. We're the same way like that. I always like to have a real tight, fast kit.
Yeah, exactly.
But the problem with that is it's difficult to mic, and that's been an issue.
Yeah, when you put 5 toms on it, it is.
Well, yeah, and I fucking above those toms the splash cymbals. You know, so I had this like row of splashes. So there's nowhere to get a goddamn mic on there. So like the fucking sound guys were always like, I don't know what to do with this. You know, so,
I'd be like, hey, maybe don't bring the splashes.
Yeah. The splashes are crucial. The splashes are my favorite part. You know, there was like a 6, an 8, a 10, and a 12. And I think the 6 is not on anything down there, but I think the other ones are still up. And they're 8 customs, and they sound fucking amazing.
It's so funny to me that like for some folks, that's just standard fare, right? They think about playing a drum set, and it's 2 up, 2 down, 3 splashes, a China, a ride, 4 crashes, side snare, remote hats. I'm like, to me, that's like the biggest drum set I would ever put together. Yeah. And then people play like truly big drum sets.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know that. And well, that's the thing though too, is, I mean, there's all kinds of joke memes about your basement drummer, which is what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, you got the whole rack. The gigging drummers.
Yeah.
You know, the most minimal fucking possible shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Show me a photo of your kit, and I'll like tell you how often you play out.
I'm not hauling those drums around down there, dude. They don't move, you know, like I set them up and like mic them up and shit, but I'm not out there gigging that kit every goddamn week or nothing. Fuck that.
Can you imagine? We're like, oh yeah, load-in's at 5. You're like, I'll be there at 2:30.
Yeah. And I mean, we kind of did. I mean, that was the kit that was with it. It wasn't set up. We didn't have all those toms. It was just set up with the 3 up and 2 down, you know, which is still a pretty big kit, but like
it's a lot of toms.
Yeah. And we weren't using a rack either. And like that was probably a mistake too, you know, just for the sheer ease of like hauling it up on stage.
Right.
And shit, you know,
because then at least you can assemble it somewhere else.
Yeah. That's what you do is you set
get
up
4 friends to help you put it on stage.
Yeah, the first thing you do is you fucking, you know, 3 of you haul the fucking kit up, get that set first, then everybody else can get their shit.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
But I like a small kit too, like playing that it's not set up down there, but I was telling you, I got what I call that trap kit, which is just this random pieces of shit that I fucking found all over the place. And like, god damn, that was fun playing that too, you know? Like that's what I was talking about, like how fun it would be just, and that's what you do is just like set up like, today's kit is this weird, you know, like got this tom from here and this tom, and like, you know, they're totally different. And
I don't remember if we talked about it on here before, but all along for like 10 years now that 10 plus years now that I've been doing this punk band, Short Hair Domestics, kick, snare, hats, crash.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So
no toms,
where do you put
no
the
ride.
crash?
Left side.
Okay. So
the whole kit is left side.
Yeah,
There's literally
there's
nothing to my right.
Oh, okay.
Like nothing at all.
Wow.
Not a floor tom, not a ride, no nothing.
Usually the people will just do the tom or like a floor tom and the snare.
No floor tom. And it's great. And like it not only does it fit the music, it fits the vibe of the band.
Right.
And I kid you not, every single time I play a show with that band, I get at least one either serious question or jokey comment. Where's the rest of your drum set?
Yeah.
Like, I got everything I need, man. You know?
That's badass. I do want to do a kit that's kind of like no crashes though too. Like kind of like the dude from what's that fucking funk band? That's that Silk Sonic shit. I think we talked about that some. I was like obsessed with that record. That dude plays that fucking it's not like he's the only one, but it's just fucking like I could say a floor tom, a snare, hats, and just a ride, I think.
Yeah, and if you kind of got the right ride,
you kind of crash
it's a
it
crash
a little
cymbal
bit too,
you know?
And you know, he's just basically only doing a little ping here and there on it. It's mostly just hi-hat and fucking, and I'm like, that's fun. I like doing shit, even though I got all this shit, like doing these exercises of like, what if you take all of this away? Can you still play, you know? And like, so I'll do shit like that. Can you still do music where all you got is your ride and a tom and your kick?
Yep.
Can you play music with that? You know, like just kind of challenging yourself that way.
And it's funny, man, I sort of have the opposite where like even just when I got here and sat downstairs, I'm so used to playing so much less than that I sit down and I'm like, well, I could play a whole song and probably not even hit half this stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Like I wouldn't even think to do a fill that involved 4 toms. I'd be like, hit the one in the middle and hit the one at the bottom.
I mean, that's what you do. The rest is all just for show.
Yeah, it's all for show.
Pretty much.
Which that just makes me think of that always cracked me up. And I learned later that maybe they were 2 different sizes. But you see those old like Pink Floyd photos and Nick Mason has 2 bass drums.
Yeah.
And like there ain't a single Pink Floyd song in the whole catalog that requires 2 bass drums.
Yep. He wasn't. Well, it just kind of wasn't like a thing like it is now of like riding on double kick.
Kind of was. Louis Bellson, man, in the 40s.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But it was like, but also at the time, it was just if you're playing rock and roll drums, you have 2 bass drums.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you ever played a kit with 2 bass drums, like an actual double kick?
Only a little, but I'm so bad at it because I like have never even really owned a double pedal.
Right.
That I'm like, dude, exactly like I did downstairs, a little 1E and a 2. That's all I got.
But I've like only like sat down on one like one time at a music store like a million years ago, and like, goddamn, would it be sweet to like have that too? But I mean, that's also totally crazy.
You know what most of the pros are doing now that have 2 bass drums?
Yeah, a lot of them are faking it with a double pedal.
You just play a double pedal and the other one's just for show.
Yeah.
Which makes sense for the sound guy.
Yeah. That's what that's the whole point. And that's what Pat from ISD does.
Yeah.
And we talked about that on he talks all about it on this podcast about why he's doing it like that and stuff. And he learned that from the guy from Fate's Warning, I think, or something like that, was doing that. And he's like, why do you do this? And he's like, because you only got to have one mic and it's consistent. And like, and if you have 2 kicks, like in your fucking gigging or touring or something, like you need a fucking roadie. Like you need a drum tech. Like that, you have to tune that shit.
Exactly. And even if even if you like used whatever tune bot and got them exactly the same, like, well, is your blanket inside touching the same amount of the head? The variation between 2 of the same drum, oof, what a nightmare.
Yep, because I was thinking about it at one point before I bought this kit. I was thinking, well, maybe when I do buy my dream kit, maybe it is. And actually, my brother kind of talked me out of it for those reasons. He's like, you kind of think you might want that, but I think that's going to be way more work than you want to really get into.
One of the things that I would love to do, you know who Stanton Moore is?
I know the name.
It's a New Orleans guy, leads the band Galactic.
Okay.
And some other stuff. He's playing these days regular 20-inch bass drum. And then like over to his right, in like further out than his ride, is a 24.
Yeah.
And next to his regular kick pedal is one side of a double kick pedal.
Right. Yep.
And just the like cam arm.
Yep.
So you've got your regular and then like a big old Bonham thumper.
Yeah.
And that sounds awesome.
That is fun. That does seem like that would be super
And it just
fun.
looks wacky to like see another kind of orphan giant bass drum. Like, that's cool.
That is badass.
I like doing that, or I'd like to do that. I've messed around a little bit. I've got a great big old marching bass drum, like a 28-inch Ludwig, and put it in front of another bass drum.
Yeah.
Because it sucks to play.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks to play with a pedal, but it's pretty cool to like just use as like a resonate.
Does it have legs on it?
Yeah, DW makes these little clamp-on legs that just go over a hoop, so you don't have to drill holes or anything. Yeah.
Okay, I got to get some of those for my fucking little trap kit.
They're cheap.
It doesn't have any legs on it at all, and I put a. The old trick, you put a brick in front of it or whatever, and that's fine. I had one of those weighted blankets, you know what those things are, with like the glass beads in it or whatever. And I put that motherfucker in it for the muffling and shit, but it also had enough weight where it would pretty much keep it in place. It would, and with the pedal on it, it would hold it there pretty much. I mean, it wasn't great, but like it worked.
A little unstable side to side, maybe.
Yeah. It got the job done.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap too.
Yeah.
Yeah, real easy. Just like they come on and off super easy.
Well, did you see, I don't know if you noticed on the 20 down there, I have one of those things that it's like it lifts it up.
I did see that, yeah.
Because so it keeps your beaters centered in the drum.
Yep.
And also like, so your beaters will be hitting like it's at an angle or something. I don't know if that fucking really matters, but like for me, it was like the beaters, because I like them really high, so there's a lot of whip and shit to them, and so like they were hitting way high on the drum, so like you're not hitting in the center of the kick drum, so you're not getting the best tone you could basically or whatever. So I got one of those things. It seems to get the job done. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I've played like 16s and 18s on risers before.
I've never played anything that small.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I bet.
That's kind of weird.
You take like a floor tom and like, I've seen like...
Yeah, they make little cradle things you can put in.
Yeah.
I've got a little 18 and I just play it. The beater just hits way above center and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When at a certain point, like you're saying, it's fuck it makes the sound that it makes. Yeah. Like, does this sound cool or not?
And like, and again too, like I'm not playing like bop jazz.
Yeah.
It's not tuned up to be like boom, boom. Like I want it to be thuddy.
Yeah.
It's got to have a hoodie in it, put a microphone on it.
Indeed.
It goes thump. That's all that really matters.
Boys, I got fucking hammered last night.
Oh yeah, how do you feel today?
I had not good, and I'm drinking again right now. But I had to like call into work today. Basically, I worked from home, and I did work, but like I didn't actually get up until like 9:30. Like I'm usually at work by 8:30 or something. But so I went to see one of my favorite bands. Do you know the band Finger 11?
I saw your post. I know the name, but I don't really know anything about them.
So they've had some hits and shit, like actually some huge hits. They had that Paralyzer song and One Day, I think, or something like that. And I was really, really into them for a long time, and I'm like, then they kind of like fell off. But they were one of my favorite bands from back in the day, right? And so like they're out there doing it again or whatever, kind of put their shit back together. And so I get tickets and fucking pretty excited, and I fucking we go out there, and so first of all, it's at the Pyramid Scheme, and I'm 2 drinks in at dinner already. So go to the Pyramid Scheme, and we go in, and the singer is standing there playing pinball, but I know that it was him now, but at the time I was like, is that the guy? And you see somebody in person, and they haven't seen him in a long time, and he's like, no shade, but he's put on like a lot of weight. So like, you're just not quite sure. Like I was not 100%, but I was like 75%, but I didn't want to be that dude that was like, hey, are you the guy? And because like, he was just like kind of like scrubbed out a little bit too and shit. They're on tour and whatever.
Oh yeah.
Like, so, but like, I don't want to be like, hey man, and him be like, what? No.
My name is Bill. I repair refrigerators.
What are you talking about? So anyway, it's kind of a regret that I didn't talk to him. So we fucking go in, and I start fucking drinking more. And like the last time I was there, I got preposterously hammered. I didn't know that like they're known for super strong drinks there.
Drinking cocktails?
Yeah, I'm drinking Jameson and Coke. and then Jameson and ginger. And so I'm getting pretty lit up. Surprisingly and unfortunately, not a lot of people there, So it was only like maybe half full
on a Thursday night, I suppose.
Yeah. But even like, I mean, Finger 11, like they had some like pretty big fucking hits, So I thought maybe it would be more, but yeah. So anyway, I'm fucking the opening bands play this local band called Lokella.
Yeah, I know. I kind of know that singer and drummer.
Yeah, she's cool. I think that. So Joel Ferguson, who was on the pod a few months ago, he introduced us to them. Said you should check these guys out because we were asking him like, any bands, he's producing and shit. Like, who should we talk to on the pod? And he said you should get them on. So they're probably coming on in a little bit. But they got on after they added the local band, probably because the ticket sales weren't great as they do. And so they got on after the fact. So it's just cool that I was like, got to check them out. I liked it a lot. And then that Eva Under Fire played next.
Not
them?
Familiar with that one.
They're from Detroit, and they've kind of like, they got some big fucking videos and shit. Like they did a Journey, Separate Ways recently. And it's got like a lot of views, like, and she's a fucking badass singer. This I don't know. It must be Eva, I guess. I don't know. And
one would think.
right. And man, but she can belt. But they're a little more like radio rock. Like it's almost like Shinedown with a female singer or something.
Is Finger 11 pretty heavy?
Yeah, they can be, but he doesn't scream or anything. So it's like kind of like the heavy guitars, really nice, like tight arrangements, excellent fucking bass player, great lyricist and singer and shit. Like it's always been like right up my alley. Do you know Our Lady Peace?
Yeah.
Very similar in some ways. The guy that was producing those Our Lady Peace records was also producing the Finger 11 records. They're both Canadian. They were both huge in Canada. There's a lot of crossover there. And those are two of my like favorite bands.
Okay.
Of that era. So anyway, so the opening bands play, then fucking Finger 11 comes out. So I'm like on my third one of these fucking whiskey and cokes now. And so I'm getting pretty fucking lit up. And I'm in the very front of the stage, it's like I say, it's not a huge place, it wasn't sold out, so like I'm like on the stage, and they're fucking, so they come out and they're fucking playing, and I'm like, the guitarist and singer are like closer than me and you are now. So it's like one of my favorite bands, and I'm drunk, and it's one of those things where like, like I still know every word to fucking every song, you know what I mean? And like I was really into those records, and so like I'm just fucking hammered, I am just singing it up, just fucking, like the fucking I'm taking a video one from us, and the guitarist is like looking in my video, giving me the point and shit, and like the whole fucking, like and Susan, she goes, yeah, you were rocking out harder than anybody in that place.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I fucking love these guys. What can I say? I'm gonna support. I'm gonna fucking have a good time.
It's a goddamn shame you didn't have any of the Street Team VHSs.
Well, so do you see? I got it out. We've talked about this. I was on their Street Team when I was like 14, and they sent me this fucking box full of VHS tapes with their videos from this record. It was their second record, and I was looking at it today, and this is what's hilarious is it says 3 videos, and it's the single First Time, the second single Drag You Down, and then another version of the first single First Time. So it's not even 3 actual videos. But the infamous part of the rest of this story, dude, and I'm sorry to anybody who's listening, I've told this like 10 times, is these were sitting in the my dad's basement for years on the bookshelf, like lined up, and he started systematically eBaying them for like $3. So like, and he had this like running listing, so like every like year one of them would sell. And I'm like, how much are you paying on postage for these?
Right. Just taking a hit to get rid of them.
Yep. So I managed to keep one. It's still sealed. It's gonna be worth big money someday. Still in the seal. VHS. Yeah, so I went on the hunt for that. I had to find that in the collection too to prove that was fucking real.
Well, I'm sure if you weren't making too much of an ass of yourself, they were probably thrilled to have somebody enthusiastic in the front row. You know,
he made some comment. The singer, he's like, "I see you guys singing along to the deep cuts," and I'm like, he's talking about me.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And then very end of the show, they finish up. They did a cool Pink Floyd cover for Encore. They did that, and then they did that Paralyzer song, which is
what Pink Floyd song?
Welcome to the Machine.
Tight.
Yeah, it was cool. It was just awesome to see this guy who's like an incredible guitarist, like right here, like you're like right at dick level, you know, like so he's just like, and these guys, they throw it on, like the guitarists like go fucking nuts. The other guitarist like takes his guitar off and like plays like with no like the straps not on, and it's like he's holding his guitar like way out here and like wailing around and shit. It's pretty wild, and he looks like
seems difficult.
It does, yeah. And he looks like Gandalf now. He's like got an enormous beard, and you know they're all gray now and shit. Yeah. Hair down to his ass, this fucking dude. So I'm like, is Gandalf is playing with Finger 11 now? The show finishes, and I reach up and I get the fucking fist bump from the guitar. So nice. that was huge.
Teenage you was thrilled.
It really was. Yeah, it really brought me back to a certain time. But Finger 11 is fucking awesome. Like they really did make some great records, great songs. It is like kind of one of my favorite things is basically I like heavy guitars with singing over it.
Sure.
That seems to be like sort of a trend of like my favorite bands. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they were kind of like very much like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, like you're a Tool fan.
Yeah.
The last time I was here, we talked about Queensryche a bunch.
Yes.
All that sort of makes sense as like heavy guitars, clean vocals, you know?
Did you ever end up completing the Queensryche homework is the question.
I know I listened to that record, but...
Nice.
You know.
Was that a Mindcrime where we talking about Operation Mindcrime?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And as I'm sure I said before too, I am very guilty of breadth, not depth, where I listen to tons and tons of music like one or two times.
Yeah.
You know, instead of really, really digging deep on something.
I do kind of like both. I'll do that. You kind of like, but then there's certain stuff that I'll like, oh, this is for me, and I'll like deep dive on it, you know?
Yeah, but it's got to catch that. I'm listening to this again tomorrow. You know?
I'll like listen to shit that I know I'm not gonna like just to educate myself.
Sure.
Like what's popular or somebody's talking about whatever, you know, or something. Like, all right, I'll listen to it, and I'm like, this is not for me at all, but I want to like know what is like being made. Even like
that's good.
Rap and pop, like the super like the shit the kids are listening to, and oh man, some of it is just fucking awful. But so
at least you're giving it a chance though.
Yeah, and it's like, well, let's hear what is this actually about. The rest of that story, basically about me being super fucking drunk, is that so I have like 4 of these fucking things at the club, and I already had 2 cocktails at the thing, so I'm fucking lit up. And we go to fucking the breakfast joint afterward, and fucking like eat breakfast, and I get home, I'm fine, I'm all right, you know. I wake up like 2 hours later, like, oh no. it's one of those nights, you know. I'm like, oh, this is not good. I got like the cold sweats going on kind of thing or whatever. I'm doing the I'm just laying there doing that, you know,
doing a little mod style deep breathing shit.
This is on keep it together. You got to maintain it, you know. So, and I did not puke, but man, it was
probably would have felt better this morning if you did.
Well, it was one of those things where I was thinking about it too. You know, you kind of get that thing going like, all right, am I going to get up and head into the bathroom and hang out there a little bit just in case things are going to go south here, you know, like, ooh, I might have to get this done, you know, and I'm like, nope, got to hang on.
For a touch and go situation.
So, yeah. Anyway, that was about it. I didn't end up puking, but yeah, this morning I was like, oh my God, I felt fucking raw. Yeah, I was not feeling good. I did. I posted that video though on Finger 11. Also, fucking responded to the video, which was awesome.
Tight.
So, yeah.
Tight.
Yep.
I did not see Finger 11 this week, but what I did catch, gentlemen, was a little
fucker.
Alice Cooper.
What?
Little Alice Cooper, Pine Knob, throwing it down on a Tuesday.
And,
Hell yeah.
and Zombie and
Zombie
Ministry
and Filter,
and
which we didn't see. So yeah, we got there kind of right when Filter was wrapping up the set. We were hanging out outside, grabbing a quick bite. Heard and they closed with "Hey man, nice shot."
Yeah,
of course,
sure,
gotta have that
yeah.
nice shot. So no idea how Filter was. Ministry was a crippling decibel level, dude. The noise factor, and I forgot earplugs. I was just
Yes.
like, "Oh, this
Even
is
at
gonna
the
be a
outside
rough
show, huh?
evening, dude." You have no idea.
Wow.
We had really, really good seats. We're like maybe 10-ish rows back, just to the left.
Oh, yeah. See, the PA
So we're
is
in
like
that
right there.
vortex of sound just in front of the shell, dude.
because they're running it for the people in the back of the
Yep.
lawn.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and it was just deafening on every. You were talking about the death clock bass just
Yeah.
thumping your
Yep.
chest. I'm just
Yep.
like, oh, there are some bad
Yep.
physiological things that are
Yep.
gonna go along.
Did it,
Cooking your organs.
Yeah,
and
Was
shit.
was the following band less loud?
Yeah, Alice Cooper followed them significantly quieter. I mean, Ministry, that they were just like,
Interesting.
we're gonna make up for whatever we had, you know.
Because it's super heavy industrial shit. Like,
Yeah.
right? I'm not like.
Yeah, it's
real
kind of
up
like
on-
old school metal. I had nothing
Yeah.
on Ministry, and I've got this dude next to me that's a diehard,
Yeah.
right? And we walk in, they get going on the first song. He's like, "This is old school." I'm just like, "Yes, yes, it is."
That's
classic
awesome, though.
Ministry.
The Ministry, like that skull shirt face thing.
Yeah.
All the stickers and t-shirts
Yeah.
and
It's
shit.
the whole cross deal and stuff. So Ministry was choice. They threw down. Then Alice Cooper comes out, and Alice Cooper more than holds his own still, and he's got to be what 72,
Yeah.
70,
At least.
If not
somewhere
older,
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's getting up there.
So that was choice, but full top hat. We're talking
Yeah.
saber. We're talking decapitation.
Yeah.
Straight
Excellent.
jacket. The whole show. The whole
Yep.
shooting match. Had the what was the other thing? Oh, he had an Alice Cooper cod piece, which is the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
Like of his own face.
So it was an Alice. I couldn't see the face. My hope is that it was, but it definitely said Alice Cooper on the belt of the cod piece. So that was incredible.
Was the codpiece also wearing a top hat?
No, which seemed to be a glaring oversight on his part. But that's top priority. I got to get one of these Alice Cooper cod pieces and
He needs to
just
sell
go
those
roll
as
around
merch.
town. Yeah, dude.
Somebody is.
Soak me in a little bit. Zombie absolutely threw down, as Zombie tends to do, man. Zombie's one of the choicest live shows, and it was great, man. Had the pyrotechnics going, full
Did he?
creeper and stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking killer.
That's great.
So after the show, we thought we had a great beat on where the car is at, right? And we pull in, we're like, oh man, we're in the back corner. We're going to get out immediately, easy access. So we're fucking hauling ass up there so we can beat the crowd. We can't find the car. We're walking around for 1 hour in the Pine Knob parking lot after the fact. There are no cars there. But we're just like in this marginally obscure spot. It was a real Blair Witch situation for a hot minute there. I'm just making videos in case my dead body's found days later, just sobbing full tears. I am so scared right now. So that was intense. It looked like Tom Hanks from Castaway by the time we actually found that bitch. But
Well, you had a pretty hard time navigating Pine Knob last time we were there, too.
directions have not historically been my forte.
Yeah.
You and me both, dog.
Yeah, I was getting pretty hungry by the end of that. I ended up killing a homeless guy for food. We found the
That
car
was Alice
immediately
Cooper.
thereafter. But
I lose my car every time I go to the grocery store.
For real?
More or
You're that
less,
guy?
yeah. I come out the door and I go, oh, fuck. Where did I park again?
remember,
shit.
we're in the itchy lot.
Hitting the fucking blinger.
Yeah,
hitting the fucking whole
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, and mine doesn't make any noise. It just flashes the lights.
Oh,
I try to
shit.
look for it. Every time, dude. Every time.
Well, I guess we got to wait till it gets dark.
Yeah, mine's got a radius of about 5 feet as well. So I'm just walking there like a fucking dejected, sad child, just going, oh.
Did you drive?
I did indeed. I decided to throw it down with the free tickets and whatnot.
Yeah, indeed.
Felt like the classy gentleman move. to
It
do,
really
you know?
is. Yeah, that was a huge. I was pretty pissed when I found out that something good happened to you and you were gonna go see that. I was pretty upset about it.
Couldn't have happened to a more deserving human being in a lot of ways. You know,
That son of a
I'm a pretty
bitch.
tremendous guy.
He doesn't even like ministry. Like I don't like I.
That sounds like a rad show, though.
I know it's a huge lineup.
I haven't been to any concerts in a while, honestly.
Yeah. I've been going to a lot. Seems like, and I got a bunch on the plate, and there's a bunch more I want to see. It's like every fucking killer band's like touring because I think like because of COVID and shit, like nobody
Yeah.
toured for a long time, and like
I might go see Mars Volta next
yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, we're going. We got tickets.
Are you?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
I
They're one
just
of my all-time favorite bands.
it's a weird thing, man. obviously I love music, but like, dog, I've played 36 shows since June 1st.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, sometimes I don't want to go to a concert.
Yeah, you're like, no, that's what.
Like, I did that already.
It's almost like you're going back to work.
In a lot of ways
yeah.
it is. Or like, I find I like get really antsy about halfway through if I'm just a spectator, I like have all this weird, I'm supposed to be doing something.
Like you got to load in.
Even a local show. Yeah. Just go to a place to like watch some people play. Right. Halfway through, like, oh, where's my drums? Like, no, you're just hanging out, man. Like, it's okay.
Right.
You've got like sympathy pains, pregnancy style on behalf of the band that's actually putting the show on.
Or get like too in my head, like thinking about the technical side of it. You know, and
but
like
you can't actually just enjoy the like.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
To just kick back and enjoy it. You know.
Yeah. You should definitely go to that Volta show. Though.
I probably should. I gotta go to Ann Arbor the next day, but
yeah, it's a lot. I can see why you're like, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes it's like, hey, do you want to go to this show? I'm like, I would really like to see that music, and then I start thinking about the entire ordeal, and I'm like
I don't want to leave the house.
Like, I think I'm gonna stay home. You know?
Yeah.
I'm mortified about this potential set list because Volta. Co-favorite band, marginally below Tool, probably it's like a 1A type thing, but that new album I just can't get down with it, dude.
That's because it's not like the other stuff.
Exactly.
It's really
it is John Theodore playing drums though.
Yeah,
so
that's
I heard.
a bone, but it's not.
Whoa. Slow your roll here. On the new tour?
I thought so. I could be wrong though. Or no, maybe it's that Rob and Laney went and saw Queens of the Stone Age, and that's John Theodore playing drums with them again.
John Theodore definitely plays the Queens of the Stone Age.
Okay. I'm just getting my wires crossed.
Yeah, okay.
I heard that. I was like, he's so good.
Oh, if he was back, because that's actually my big gripe is Volta always had like the best drummers, and now it's kind of like the drums aren't really like a thing in it. Like, I mean, there's drums, it's not like, but it's not like it was. Like with fucking, what's the other guy? Thomas Pridgen.
Dave Elitch toured with them for a while.
The drums are such a huge part. And it always seems to be, for me, my favorite bands are bands that have just the fucking killer drummers, you know, for probably obvious reasons. But I almost didn't recognize that until like later in life too. And you know what was one that did it was, we've talked about this a little bit, but a big Porcupine Tree fan.
Gavin
Harrison. And so they break up and Steven Wilson starts doing all the solo stuff. And I'm just kind of like, just turns out I'm kind of just a Gavin Harrison fan. You know, it's like, you know, like
I get that. I totally get that.
It's kind of all part of the same soup though, right? Like it's generally you're not going to have a drummer that's super badass and heavy or whatnot and then have everything else be so disparate, right? So kind of inherently, like if you've got that killer drummer component,
for sure.
Yeah, usually.
On
and
that, you know?
there is also too, there's this kind of thing about like drum, like a drummer and a rhythm guitarist, these guys like, you know, like a Lars and James Hetfield, they just like have this fucking thing that just is magic.
Yep.
Or you're fucking, you know, Led Zeppelin or whatever. Like there's this chemistry between these certain people, and that is kind of like there's something about Steven Wilson's music when Gavin Harrison plays on it, like he gets it in a way or something that it creates this magic. And there is like that aspect of it too, but it's kind of like without Gavin Harrison it's not. And then he goes and plays with fucking the Pineapple Thief, which is pretty much the same goddamn band as far, I mean, not literally, it's not the same people, but it's like literally like the same name, the same, it's very similar music, it's great, they're great too, but it's like, no, I'm kind of like a fan of this band.
Just follow Gavin around. Do you like Crimson?
Pretty much. I do like them. I never really got into it, and it seems like I should be. It's one of those things where like people are like, really? And I'm like, yeah, it never really like, their early stuff didn't do much for me at all. And then like the later stuff, like almost like the 80s shit where it's like,
that's my favorite shit.
Like Tony Levin, like who I love, you know, and stuff like that shit's cool. I mean, I fucking love Tony Levin. I'm going to see Peter Gabriel here soon. That's another concert coming up. And God,
how old is he?
He's in his 70s too. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. His new music's fucking great. That's awesome. Great. He's been releasing he's had this new album in the works for 20 years or whatever, and he's putting out a song every month this year on the full moon, and that's the album, which is kind of a fun thing. So
That
like,
is a fun thing.
part of me is like, I wish he would just like make it an album and like drop this album, but it's kind of like, well, it's a different time, and like you get to live with each song a little bit more,
Sure.
you know, and he keeps the fucking train rolling or whatever. But I was like a little nervous, like, is this gonna be garbage? You know what I mean? Like,
No, that's why why I'm like glad to hear that that deep into a career that long, that like he's still making like interesting new stuff. It's not just rehashing the old vibe or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like him, of course, but it's like, it's high quality, and I mean, it's still kind of like the same band too, which is cool. You know, it's Tony Levin, that cat David Rhodes who plays guitar and like all that shit. Manu Katché, you know Manu Katché, of course, famously played with Peter Gabriel on all that old shit.
Okay,
like Sledgehammer, all that like classic Peter Gabriel. That's all Manu Katché.
Those like all got to be super old guys now.
Yeah, they're all getting up there. I mean, Tony Levin, same. I mean, that dude was playing with John Lennon and shit. You know.
Yeah.
The shit he did on that Liquid Tension experiment
Unbelievable,
album, dude. Tony Levin on Liquid Tension.
Liquid Tension, aka Dream Theater, but better.
Yep.
Minus Me Young, dude. Swapping fucking Levin for Me Young. I think it's everybody else
and
Nova
get rid of the
Bree,
singer.
right?
Yep. Well, Tony Levin was talking about it. He's like, yeah, when Portnoy put this band together, I knew I was going to be playing with John Petrucci, and I started chopping up. He was like, I knew it was going to be like a crazy fucking.
Those tunes are wild.
Yeah,
I really
are.
like that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I really like that.
Did you catch
stuff.
the new one they did just like 2 years ago or whatever? Like it was also during COVID when they weren't touring, so they finally had time to do a third one.
Maybe, but not in a way that's like familiar to me.
Yeah. It's not in a way. It's still great. It wasn't maybe as good. It's not quite as, I don't know. They were younger and crazier and just like really going all out, you know, back in that Liquid Tension 2.
There's something too about the just kind of like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
When people do super group kind of stuff or like
Damn Yankees.
Yeah, right. Or even just like one-off projects.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's I had a bunch of conversations over this last weekend because I spent all weekend at a music festival surrounded by a bunch of my musician friends.
Yeah, that's all you're talking about.
Well, I want to play songs with all of my friends. You can only be in so many bands at once, right?
For sure.
And a lot of conversations about it'd be difficult to do, but I want to do like temporary bands.
Yeah.
Like where the whole goal is you put together a lineup.
You do this.
Write 6 tunes, put out an EP, play 3 shows, and that's it.
And that's it. Yep.
You kind of get the best of both worlds with supergroups because if it's a band and they're, you know, relatively young musically speaking, you've got to have that ramp up time to gel and learn your craft and all of that stuff.
Yep.
If you're a supergroup and you're coming in as a super pro, you know your shit, you're getting ready to lay it down, you're just going to go in there and knock it out of the park. But you also get the benefit of that initial excitement. And it's like, this is a new thing. We're all together for the first time. And the creativity's flowing. So you're kind of like taking the old...
That's so very true.
Maturity of that stuff and meshing it up with just that raw fucking
get
enthusiasm.
it done fast too,
exactly.
like, you know.
Yeah. And you probably all, and even like in a writing scenario, like everyone knows how to communicate.
Yep.
You don't have to like teach each other stuff.
Yeah.
You can just roll in. You all speak the same language and just get it done.
And when the egos aren't there and everybody's just like totally open to like, yes, let's do that. You know, it's like some guys like, oh, let's do it like this. Yes, let's do it like that. Yeah, you know, like whatever. Let's all fucking. That reminds me of do you ever catch Killer Be Killed? You ever hear those guys?
Oh, yeah, it's Dave Elitch stuff, right?
No, is that him? I think he is the drummer in that band.
Yeah, and is it Max Cavalera?
Yeah. On guitar, and then Troy Sanders from Mastodon.
Yeah.
On bass, and the singers that Greg Prosciutto Ham or whatever his name is. Greg I forget his
from
fucking
Dillinger.
Yeah.
Puciato.
It's
Puciato.
Yeah. It's he put that band together basically.
Yeah.
So like he was kind of looking to do something and started talking to Max Cavalera, and they kind of got it going, and then they got the drummer and Troy Sanders heard they were doing that, and he goes they were playing a gig with fucking Dillinger or something. He goes up to him and he goes, "So I heard you got this thing going on." He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Who's playing bass?" He's like, "I don't know." He's like, "I'm playing bass."
Right.
And he's like, "Okay, I guess you are."
Dude, it just sounds like so much fun to be able to like.
And they all sing, which is very cool because, you know, that Greg dude's probably arguably the best singer of them. Troy's good too. I'm not a huge Max Cavalier doing his scream thing or whatever,
Sure.
but that's fine too. But it is cool that it'll just be like, you know, you take the verse and I got the chorus and Max screams on the bridge and, you know, and then they're harmonizing too and shit. And like, and I think they've done 2 records and like that second record is just like fucking unbelievably good. Like I was like, this should be like, this is almost kind of better than anything all of them are doing in their other bands, you know? Like, this is for me.
It just seems like so much fun to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been the driving force in my multi-band all along.
Yeah, yeah.
Play different with different people.
Yeah.
People got different ideas, do different shit.
Yep.
So,
Well,
It's like anything else. You get that exposure to different thought processes and
Yeah.
ideas, and it's going to help you
Just
grow,
fun.
obviously.
and all the time, I like play these gigs or go play these festivals and watch my friend's band play and be like, I love the way he plays guitar.
Right, yeah.
Like, I wish I was playing right now.
yeah.
Even though it's like also one of my drummer friends that's killing it and they
Yeah.
should be in that band and it's their band. But
Yeah,
I'm always
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Well,
oh,
and
I
thinking
want to
about
be in
your
this
own
mix.
spin on it and how
Yeah.
you would do if you were inserted into the, you know, the throwing
Yeah.
back that you're
Fucking-
doing your thing.
Mike's over here tying up his friends and shit. Oh, weird. I got a feeling that's how you got in filling in
Yeah,
with that other
exactly,
band.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. You got COVID. Weird. Guess I'm going to have to fucking fill in with this band.
just out there breaking my friend's hands.
In your fucking trunk or some shit.
Right. Yeah, for real. For real.
What I wish I could do though, and of what you're talking about, it's like unfortunately I have a fucking job, but it's like I wish we could just hole up here for a week and do that. That's what,
Exactly.
yeah, that would be like the dream, and that's how those guys can do that is because they're musicians and they'll have holes in their schedule where they're not doing anything. And it's like,
Yep.
well, why don't we go into the studio for 2 weeks? That's what Liquid Tension was.
Exactly.
You know? Like they like approached him, that Magna Carta shred label approached Mike Portnoy and said, put together a super group, we want to put something out. And he said, okay.
And I guess it really does hinge on like doing it like at a local level or whatever. It really does hinge on having someone involved like that has a home studio.
Yeah, if you want to do a record. Yeah,
if you want to do even
yeah.
just like an EP or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder.
I know, that'd be the move. Well, that's what even I was talking about, like doing those fucking loops and shit, like on a weekend, like, you
Yep.
know, there's some weekend where you're free and it's like, this is what we're doing this weekend. You know, we got some weed, you know, we got some beers, you know,
Like, bring a sleeping bag,
Like we're
'cause this is what we're
crashing
doing.
here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, you know, like we're staying up as late as we want. We can, you know, work as late as we want, but yeah, you're crashing here, you know.
Dude, that's also something that I've always wanted to do and never been able to is just that whole, like, we're making an album and we're living in the
Yeah,
studio while
exactly.
we do it.
Yep.
You know, even if
Yep.
it's for 3 days.
Yep.
Like, round the clock. Because eventually what happens, like, again, we were talking about this at Pond Jam. It makes me think of like being in marching band and like going to band
Yeah,
camp.
for sure.
That by the time you're like 2 or 3 days into it, even your walk to breakfast, you're so entrenched in the thing that you're working on
Yep.
that even your casual conversations are about the thing that you're working on.
Yep.
Like, it's so immersive and you're like, oh yeah. And in that one part we got to do,
Yep.
you know, you get the like,
It's the water cooler conversation.
it is.
Yeah.
And that you can get into this kind of unfortunate. It like makes me think about they talk about like office job people are like multitasking and you lose time when you switch tasks.
Oh, dude, that's such the story of my life.
And it makes me think of this like,
Yep.
okay, cool. So say we're going to make a record and we work on it Friday, but then we can't work on it again until Sunday.
Yep.
And then the following Saturday, and each and every time you have to like ramp
into it, I know.
back into it each and
Yeah.
every time, as opposed
Yeah.
to like if you could just lock the doors
Yep.
and spend 36 hours on it.
Yeah.
It's a diesel
100%,
truck, man. Like, it
100%.
takes a minute to get going, but once
Exactly.
it's up to full speed, like, it's a powerful machine.
Like I've been working on some shit lately and it's like it gets to the point where like I can get all the way up to the like doing the vocals, but then I have to stop because I have to like go back to work or whatever. And now so you end up with like all this like half or like 3/4 of the way done shit. And the best stuff you can make is when you don't have to break that momentum. If you can go all the way through, and it's true with visual arts or anything like writers, or something. Like if you have to stop, it's like you even kind of lose of like your vision of what it was going to be in a way. And you could find it again or whatever, and maybe it'll be something else and still be great. But it's like, well, there's something about like just going all the way through, and it's like, man, if I had 2 more days, I could just do like literally write and record all the vocals on this and have this whole song done.
Yeah.
And instead it's like, oh, I got to switch gears, I got to go back to work, and I got a paid gig, I'm doing this or whatever. And so like now it's 3 weeks gone by, and I haven't looked at them.
Where was I? Where did I put that note?
Yep.
Well, you've got to get in that headspace for anything creatively, writing or music or whatever the fuck it is, right? Like it takes you time to get ramped up and get to that point, but once you're rolling, it's like fuck, and you're in that mindset and you're laser focused and going to town. Then you got to break that. It's brutal.
I do think in some ways too that some of that is a skill that can be developed.
Yeah, for sure.
I struggle with that as a writer for sure, where like it really does take me some time to kind of cook up or like get the diesel cylinders going, But I do feel like in like a band rehearsal setting, like the moment I sit down, I'm like ready to go. I got ideas. Like, let's get to it.
Yeah, that's nice.
But it wasn't always that way. Like it takes doing it 3-4 times a week for a decade.
Right.
And then you're like let's get to it.
Do you think that's a byproduct of the medium, like i.e. writing versus playing music, or more about like the energy of doing a group activity with the people music wise? Do you know what I mean?
That's really interesting to think about. It's kind of both. That like, if it's with other people, you're kind of on everybody's time. And like, especially like, at least for me, we rehearse in my apartment and 9:00, we're done. Like we don't make noise after that because other people live there. So there is this kind of urgency, and there's other people involved, and you don't want to waste their time.
Hopefully they don't want to waste your time.
Right. And it's like, all right, like let's get down to business. And you're right too, that there might also be something that like, even when you're like writing material and you start and stop or try ideas and scrap them or whatever, it's still it happens in real time.
Yeah.
Like even if you're like, say we're just running the transition from the bridge to the chorus over and over and over again. Once you start, you're in it. There isn't this, like if you're writing, you can like write a couple of words and stop and think about it for a second, write another one, and then delete it. And then take that one word and put it down there. Like you can rearrange. In music, you have to like try it and then stop.
Yeah.
And then decide a different way and then try it. Like,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. If it's medium specific or not.
It seems like it's got to be both almost, right? Because I think part of it, like you're feeding off the energy of other people too. Like not so much just a function of being cognizant of others' time and not wanting to waste it, but I think like you're getting that going, and it's kind of that group dynamic, and you're just feeding off on one another, and it builds and builds and builds. Right. Deal. One
of my favorite experiences in like a rehearsal setting or like a songwriting setting is when the switch sort of flips, or it's like a tipping point from like, we're doing it because we're supposed to do it, and we're doing it because we're excited about it. You're like kind of working on a tune or whatever, and it's going okay. And then one idea, and that's pretty slick. And then 3 people have ideas, and you're like, let's run it again. Like, kind of fever pitches up. I love that moment.
I do kind of miss that. I don't have that at all. With like writing in a band, it takes a lot longer, but like doing that and like running everybody else's ideas and stuff. And then when the idea works, like you're saying, like, well, the transition is, what if we stop here and do whatever, and when like, you might do a couple and like maybe somebody's not feeling it or it's like or whatever, and then like, but when you get it right, when you get the one that does and everybody knows it,
that's the one.
You're like, oh, that's how we're gonna do that. Like, yeah.
I love those moments.
Yeah, that is fun. I do miss that, but
I feel like there's a big like physiological component to that also, right? To your point of like when you're in it, you're in it.
Yeah.
When you're trying to do something because it feels like, I don't know if it's just like the mental mindset of like, I'm doing this and because I feel like I have to do it, it feels like work and I'm less enthused. But like when you're excited about something and you're really like in the zone, I got to imagine there's some kind of endorphin chemical type rush that's going on that really ramps up that creative aspect of things.
But there is all of this other sort of conventional wisdom about like you only get that when you sit down to do the thing.
For sure.
Like you kind of have to put your work hat on.
Yep.
And be like, all right, I guess it's band practice time, kind of regardless of how you feel.
The Stephen Pressfield, the muse will meet you type
exactly.
thing. Yeah.
I'm actually back to reading The War of Art again for like the 5th time or whatever.
We talked about it before. One of my favorite author used to fucking sit in a bookstore window and write to show people that it's not magic.
You just grind it out.
You got to put in a shift. And he's one of those guys who worked every job, and that's why part of why he's a great writer,
Yeah.
And so, he's like, it's just a job like any other. Like, you have to sit down and do it.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing. I don't really have a problem with that, luckily, but it's from practice and stuff of doing it. But it's always, to me, it's just kind of like, what's the next step? So it's like, am I doing drums, or like, are you starting to build a song, or whatever? And it's just kind of always just like, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? So if you just kind of like keep doing that, you just kind of like keep pushing forward.
I'm honestly not sure. And it's a little bit of a chicken and the egg situation, but I'm not sure it's as black and white as that. And I'm speaking from just like myself personally, but I think when you sit down and get into the grind, like, yes, it can transform and something great can come of it. But usually for me, it's when that first really good idea hits and it's like, oh, and then that gets the juices flowing and that gets the fucking excitement and all the endorphin stuff. So, like, is it just sit down and do it? Or is it you sit down and do it, but that magic point has to happen and kind of hit that line, that threshold?
I think you get to that magic point when you sit down to do it, though, or something. It's like, you got to sit down and start working at it. Like, they say, like, I hate fucking writer's block. Like, writer's block to me doesn't exist. It's bullshit.
Right.
And I'm talking, like, in any way, but specifically, like, I'm staring at the blank page and I can't. That's bullshit. And I've gone, like, you take creative writing classes, they teach you how to get over this. Literally, just start writing nonsense.
Yeah.
You just, like, start free flow writing. Hi, my name is Ross Morgan. I live at whatever. You just start doing that. You don't have to fucking, and then eventually, all of a sudden, you'll be 3 pages deep and you realize, like, oh, now you're writing about, like some fucking crazy shit. You have no idea how you even got here, And
I think some of it too is like that those things aren't mutually exclusive. That like the inspiration spark thing is very real. And if you have it, capture it. All the advice about chair time or the show up like it's a shift is for all of the moments that you don't have the spark.
Right.
Because if you have the spark, awesome, rush to your workstation and try to capture it.
For sure. Yeah.
But if you wait for it, then you won't get shit
You'll
done.
never get it.
You'll never get anything done.
Right. Yep.
You'll just sit there and be like, well, no spark today.
Yeah.
As opposed to like,
more often than not, you'll get that spark when you sit down and start doing it.
Yeah.
You'll be like, and the other thing too is like the way I write now, like in the studio or whatever, like I'm just making shit up as I go. What's it gonna be? I have no fucking idea. Don't care. Don't know. Don't care. And like the beauty of it now, having this space is I've been talking to a couple people about this, is having all my tools where I can grab them has been so fucking awesome, dude. Like, I was doing this thing and it's like, you know what? I kind of want to have a nylon string guitar here. Grab a mic, grab a guitar. Half hour later, it's done.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, just like, and then again, it's what's next. I'm listening to it. Oh, this will be dope. I should rearrange. Oh, I'll just do that real quick. Or I wanted to do some actual drum loops. It's like industrial shit, this specific thing I'm talking about. And I'm like, I kind of want some like real drums here, and I'll kind of fuck them up. And so it's the same thing. I threw one microphone in front of one of my drum kits, played some loops, threw that shit in fucking Pro Tools, and, you know, distorted the fuck out of it. It's perfect. Exactly what I wanted.
And you're off to the races.
45 minutes. Done. You know? It's so nice.
I'm actually finding... I haven't done much of my like bleep bloop stuff in the last several months.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is work and summer and gigs
like
and all that
crazy,
stuff.
Yeah.
But another part of it is that I have yet to figure out a very good way to kind of have it all at my fingertips.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'll be like, you know, so like I've got this Sunday off, like totally free, no responsibilities. And like, I want to do some of that.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Or even like finish a work day, no rehearsal. Mm-hmm. Well, instead of just fire it up and get to fucking around, it's like, oh, go over to the shelf and grab all the stands and grab, whoa, man, where's that power supply? And dig through the drawer.
An hour later, you don't even remember what you were. Yeah.
And I'm like finally up and running, you know, so.
Yeah. That's one of the big, and that was one of my biggest things here, and that's why I have and set it up like this. Like, I watch a lot of, or I was, and I watch a lot of studio tours on YouTube and shit. You know, I fucking love that shit. And some of the guys, like, it's really inspiring to me that it's like, this is what I want my space. It's like everything's hooked up and ready to go all the time. To a point, the most that you can. And like, he's talking about, this one guy in particular was talking about you know, working with bands, and that the answer's always yes. And I've talked about that a little bit on here, but when he has a band come in and they see some shit and they're like, can I use the ukulele? Can we do a ukulele? Yes. I can, you know, 5 minutes and we're ready to go. Because again, it's the inspiration's there to go for it. And I've been in studio situations where I was ready to go. Like, I just smoked a little weed. I'm ready to perform. Like, I got the guitar in hand, and there's some fucking engineering issue that I don't even know. Nobody's even explained to me what's happening. So now I'm getting irritated on
and the
top
dude's
of
digging in a closet for the amp that he told you he had.
Yeah, and it's like now not only am I losing like the inspiration I had, but now I'm legit getting irritated, like the opposite of what you want.
I feel like it's partially a mental hurdle, and it's kind of one and the same, but it's not only like capitalize on that moment of creativity and that feeling when it strikes, but I think also like if you've got that mental blocker of, it would be great to play XYZ instrument, but with that comes a 2-hour setup and a whole bunch of consternation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exactly it.
And you're almost defeated before you can even get into it.
Oh, maybe there's a plugin that'll do it. Yeah. You know, or something.
Because I mean, I tell like my drum students, or even anybody that's like trying to spend more time with their instrument, like I always have a drum set up.
Yeah.
And like if at the very worst, I use the kick pedal and the throne and the ride cymbal on the gig from yesterday. Yeah. So like, but everything else is still there. The stands are there. The shells are already set up. Yeah. A couple of things.
5 minutes, you can put some shit in it.
5 minutes, you're ready to go. Yeah. Or like under my desk is a practice pad on a stand with a pair of sticks all the time. Even when I got that ukulele, when I moved apartments, I was still in my same house, but I moved apartments like 8 or 9 months ago. Drilled a little ukulele hanger into the wall.
Yeah.
So instead of it being hiding away or in a case, it's hanging on the wall.
When you want to throw down on the uke,
exactly.
So immediately, baby.
I used to keep,
well, it's especially because
the uke waits for no one.
Because I'm not very good at it. I'm like trying to get these reps in. So I like put my coffee cup in the microwave for 65 seconds. And strum ukulele for that 1 minute. And it goes beep, and I hang it back up. I'm like, all right, cool. I got a few reps of those chord shapes in or whatever. But like, the more complicated, if we're talking about like studio setups, microphones, routing boards, and all this stuff, like, man, if that shit isn't set up, it's such a hassle to put together.
You gotta have it be to fucking be ready for your creativity, or it does kill the vibe. And momentum makes momentum, and so like that's what I'm saying. Like the next step thing, it's like you got to be finishing those next steps. If I get stuck on a next step, that'll kill me, and that'll happen even in the day job. No matter if I get stuck, like fuck, something's wrong. I can't do it today, and it's just like, ugh. And it's like even there's still 3 hours left in the day, but I'm just like.
It's so deflating.
I'm so deflated. Yeah. So that's why having everything. And what you're talking about with guitars, I mean, that was a big change I made. I always kept my guitars in the cases on a rack. But that was going to be a big change with this. It was going to be, no, they're going to be out. Everyone's going to be ready to grab.
Strung up.
Yep.
Hopefully in tune.
Yep. Tuned up, set up. And that's another thing, too, is no gear that doesn't work. Like if it doesn't work, like it's got to go to the shop and work. I don't want it like a thing that's like not able to use. Like that's a big no.
I know too. I'm very guilty of like
what.
That's a revelatory statement right there. Things that are broken, just not the way to go.
It's true though, man. Like how much fucking like studios and shit. It's like
full of half functional gear.
Does this amp work? No, that one's blown. Does you can't turn on the organ? No, it doesn't work. Well, why the fuck do you have it here? And like I don't know. It's partially like I'm able to do it, but another way it's just a philosophy of like like.
And I'm trying to figure out a little bit. I'm very guilty of like. Kind of only thinking, at least in my kind of actions in a day, are kind of that day's action.
Me too. I'm the same way. What? Yep.
And so, and I'm kind of a busybody, and that means that like, I've got the work I got to do that day. I want to practice. If I'm learning songs, if I've got rehearsal, if I've got the gig, whatever.
Yep.
But it's very difficult for me to like, okay, this whole weekend, I'm just going to figure out how to set all this stuff up so that it's ready to go for the foreseeable future.
In the long run, it saves you a lot of time.
Exactly, but that dedication to the...
Yeah.
And so like even when I start to think about how I could get my synth drum machine stuff kind of permanently set up.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, well, then I need a different thing and I needed this shelf and I don't have that stand. And then it becomes a shopping list and I'm like, never mind. And they just stay on the shelf for another month or whatever.
I get, I've had this problem too. And especially when I start, like when I was building this studio or whatever, is like, I'll then also get into the point where that's all I'm doing. And then I forget to actually make music. So, like, because I love gear and I love the studio and I love the logistics of that too. That's its own thing, and trying to make it be, but it was getting to the point where it's like, all right, dude, like you kind of got everything going here. And you can rip apart this bass drum pedal and redo a thing. But like, maybe it's time to like actually like look at the records and like start like, getting what is the next step to finishing this actual fucking song, So that could be a challenge for me getting hung up on the gear.
No cattle. You got to actually do the damn thing, baby.
It's true. And, the guitar, I got all these guitars. Yeah, but that's also a bunch of work to maintain them. So and all this shit like I'm talking about, like the drum sets and everything, it's like it's a lot of work to manage that gear too if you want everything to be working, like shit goes down. Well, like if I have a philosophy of I gotta fix it or whatever, well that means you gotta fucking fix it or something.
And you're gonna do that like instead of play guitar.
Exactly. Yeah. So that can be a bit of a problem too. And I think that happens to a lot of musicians. I think there's actually a lot of guys who are kind of like more interested in that than actually making music, and that's fine too, like if that's what you want to do. But
I've got a couple of friends that they're like decent drummers, like they play, they're doing just fine, but their interest is much more in maintenance, restoration.
Like you're a drum tech,
and I think about it like some people drive race cars. Some people are race car mechanics. And both of them are very, very essential to there being race cars in the world. So, like, I really like knowing that, like, and I don't rely on them as much as I should, but I like knowing in the back of my head that, like, if I've got a super fucked up drum, I'm not really a tinkerer. I'm not a builder.
Right.
But I can be like, hey, will you fix this up for me? And they'll be like, oh, I'd love
Indeed,
to.
Yeah,
But I always wonder how much of that, and obviously, like, people have interests, and you might be interested in the mechanical side of whatever it is versus the execution of doing the thing. But how much of that is personality versus the fear of trying to create, right?
Yeah, it's both.
And that's fair.
I'm not sure the right word to use. Not that it's not difficult to do something like executionally, mechanically, what have you.
It's a little less risky.
It's not as, I don't know. It's just different, you know. It's,
what if
it's
you make
different
something
type
and it
of
sucks?
challenge.
There's a fear there of like,
But I'll use an example. One of my best friends in the whole world, a dude named Mikey Olson, plays keyboard in The Human Condition. We played together in Delta Decalactones. He was in King Crabapple. I've known this dude since he was literally born. He really likes paintball,
yeah,
but really, he really likes paintball guns.
yeah, exactly.
And so, like, he goes and plays sometimes, but is so much more interested in fine-tuning the air pressure and that it's this gauge of gasket and that this one does this thing and I can clock. And so, like, he probably spent, especially when he was, like, really, really into it 6-7 years ago, he would, like, go to play a game and come home with 10 people's guns.
Yeah, like I can set this up better.
And would be all about the setup and the mechanics.
Yeah.
It's much more, that type of stuff is like more, I guess, linear in my mind, right?
Yeah.
It's very much point A to point B gets you to point C.
You don't have to make
work.
a creative decision.
Yes, it's not
That's a
jump from
reflection on
A
you.
to D and then back to B and then revisit E and then, you know. So
Like, wait, there's 2 C's? What?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I always think of it like when you, like a 2D old school side scroller video game, just picture wise. If you throw a bouncing ball, it's going to bounce and bounce and bounce and keep going. Whereas you chuck a rock at a piece of glass, that fucker's going to spider web in 1,000 different directions.
Sure.
Yeah,
it makes very little sense. But
No, it does make sense to me because I am much more likely to do the other version. I'm all about, like, throw the ideas at the wall, take the creative risks. It might not turn out.
Yeah.
I'm so into that, like, to the detriment of me maintaining my gear or knowing what's where or go pull something out of the closet and be like, oh, shit, that's right. That broke 2 years ago.
It's so crucial to have that counterbalance, though.
Yeah.
And it's like
That's
the
why I like
different
both.
personalities meshing up, right? Because you can't have a bunch of people that are all the throw the rock at the piece of glass thing, because then you're going everywhere. Like, you got to have somebody to kind of rein it back
And so
in.
when I meet technicians like that, people that are like, that's kind of the thing that gets them going, and it's like, sort of file it away and be like, all right.
Right. Yeah.
put it in the old mental Rolodex for later.
Another
right?
tinkerer to rely on because I am not, you know?
Yeah. That's why, a couple things. That's why me and my brother worked so well together back in the day when we were working together, because he was way more about logistics and like fixing shit and making shit or whatever, where I was like all focused on the creative side of things or whatever. But I know, well, I've said before, I mean, that's why some of these guitars, I was building them. I got way more into making them than playing them. So I get it, you know, I was having way more fun doing that. And again, our friend Russell, who was on, you know, that's kind of what he did too. He played in bands and stuff, but then he, you know, he's a legitimate luthier, you know, and he's like, honestly, I kind of don't really like play that much anymore, you know, and I get it. I don't, you know, and he's kind of like, but he can fucking make any of your guitars be perfect.
Yeah.
You know,
These are good people to have in your corner, you know?
It's fun. It's fun to be able to do both. I like to have, as I was just saying, I like to have my shit kind of in order gear wise, because I find that allows you to then have, like, explore your creativity without being hindered. Like, I don't want the gear to get in the way. You know?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, or at least in sort of this middle ground. Like, I know what drums I have. I know their models. I know their sizes. I know the difference between that head and that head.
Yeah.
Where sometimes you meet people that are just kind of unbridled creativity.
Yeah.
And they don't have a clue what they're playing. They don't care what they're playing.
Yeah.
It's just in their body and spirit or whatever.
Yeah. It is sort of both. You don't want to get analysis paralysis either, and that's what I'm talking about, where you're too into the gear and like, you know, oh, am I gonna, you know, audition 13 microphones for this one drum loop that I'm going to fuck up in the thing anyway, like I was just talking about. No, I'm going to grab the closest microphone. That's some of the best advice I ever got by my fucking dude. You ever hear of Mixer Man? You ever hear him? He's written some great books. He's a great mixer. Cool dude. He's mixed a couple of my things. And one of his things, people have asked him, like, if you were going to record this and this and this, what microphone would you use? And his answer is the closest one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I love that.
Yeah, me too. And that is a very valuable lesson that, like, if you have great quality microphones, yeah, you can fuck around. Like, if you got the time, you know, maybe you can audition a couple if you want. But the reality is, you want to keep that momentum going. And it's not going to make that big a difference one way or the other if you're using good stuff anyway. Like, is it my Neumann 87 or is it my whatever? Dude,
that just makes me think of the very similar trap that people fall into about, like, not starting until they have everything they think they need.
Yeah, that's a huge trap, dude. Yeah.
I'm just in the relatively near future, and I probably said this last time and haven't made any progress on it. I want to get further into being able to record drums a little bit better, or I have my, like, video making setup is kind of ramshackle and kind of shortcutty.
Right.
And I want to make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I've already learned the lesson about just start with what you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm not going to, like, spend 10 grand on a credit card to build a perfect studio that I don't know how to use.
Keep upgrading. You just upgrade
Exactly.
one. Like this E-Kit over here, that thing has been a work in progress for 15 plus years. It started off, I mean, the rack is actually I still have them. They're these piece of shit little E-Toms that were some random off-brand that my brother got at a yard sale or some crap, you know, and from there it was like, okay, I'm going to get, you know, one nice Roland for the snare, and then it was like, you know, the big purchase was like, get a good drum brain, which is now completely obsolete, but I'm still rocking it. But, you know, and I mean, literally for years and years, and I mean, like, Christmas gifts, you know, my dad and my brother went in and got me the kick drum for it one year. You know what I mean? So it would be
one
like
piece at a time,
upgrading one piece at a time. And we made some pretty decent records with some of that crap.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, like, so yeah.
Because doing it is better than waiting to do it.
100%.
Like, just in a general fucking way.
That is every time, always.
Yep.
Dude. Yeah. Just, you gotta start.
I can think of a couple of times that I've had, I don't teach a lot of lessons. Usually they're like one off or one or two at a time.
Yeah.
But like have a relatively young drummer, not like a kid, but like, you know, early 20s or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Come to my house and, like, I turned 38 this summer. I got 5-6 drum sets. Had dozen snare drums, but like it took me 20 years to assemble the collection that I have.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and I want this and I want this. And when did you get this? I'm like, well, first I played that piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then I saved my pennies and I bought one nice ride cymbal.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, I got a stand. And then a year, you know.
Like my brother started playing the drums on a folding chair.
Exactly.
And that's why he always likes his kit to be lower. Like, because when he played for 2 years when he was in, you know, started in the 3rd grade or whatever, even younger or something, you know, playing on a folding chair and some piece of shit drums. So that's why he got used to like really doing like a big leg movement because he's super low and shit, you know. So, I mean, it just kind of is what it is. But
yeah, the stuff is rad. It's great to have good stuff.
it really is. But you can make, especially the tech now, dude. I mean, like I'll bring it back to Steven Wilson. He's like, you know, I got all this shit, but you can give me a laptop and a Strat and I can make you a record.
Exactly.
You know?
Ish album a handful of months back that I've been meaning to listen to and
not that long ago at all, just a month.
It's really good.
Yeah, I listened to it. I liked it.
It's cool too. Because he's been doing all the Run the Jewels stuff. It's cool to hear it on not LP production.
Oh yeah,
like because LP is the other rapper in Run the Jewels, but he's also the producer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's and it's very distinct sounding beats.
Yeah.
So cool to hear Killer Mike on not LP.
Most different flavor.
Solo record. Yeah, he was on Rogan talking about that shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of fucking Rogan, man, it seems like there's a lot going on in the world.
Yeah, it's a really terrible tie-in, but theoretically, I see where you're going there. Yeah, there's a whole lot going on in the world, to be
Sick
sure.
segue, dog.
Classic.
Speaking of things, there's things that are happening in the world right now.
There's a whole lot of hustle and bustle out there, a whole lot cooking, you know.
And as per usual,
Let's just hit the button.
Not on the goddamn.
Just hit the button.
All right, just hit the fucking button.
The Dangerville Podcast presents News of the World.
Oh, what the fuck?
Dangerville Podcast
Oh, it's muted.
presents
It's just playing.
News of
This is
the
gonna. We
World.
can't hear it, but it's playing.
You know, as we stated earlier, it's crucial to have, this guy is a finely tuned machine. Every piece of equipment in the house, fully functional and operational at all times.
Maybe if you weren't spit taking all
Save-
of the cocksucking thing, it would fucking breaking my goddamn headphones today too. My shit's tight until you're fucking Quasimodo ass fucking up in here breaking my shit.
I am Gozer, the destroyer of all things, and I come in here and he's stomping around. All right. Well, I want to hear it, so I'm going to hit it again.
There it is.
Dangerville
Yeah,
Podcast
boy.
presents News of the World.
It's now played 3 times in the actual thing.
Going back to the flow state, I've really got to get myself geared up mentally.
Indeed.
It's a real Pavlov's dog type
That's
trigger
true.
when I hear that.
That's true.
All right, are you ready to eat your words
All right.
after all your shit talking about my news segments here?
Let's
Are you
go.
ready to laugh your behind off,
Let's go.
gentlemen? All
Let's
right.
go.
First up I'm bringing heaters this week, boys. First up on the docket, we've got Chicago TV news crew robbed at gunpoint while reporting on a string of robberies. Ironically
that
enough.
alone is hilarious.
Indeed. So a Chicago television news crew reporting on a string of robberies ended up robbed themselves after they were accosted at gunpoint by 3 armed men wearing ski masks.
Nice.
Yeah. Stay tuned for next week's news segment where I'll be reporting on women who love to perform oral sex, make delicious baked goods with ingredients they purchase themselves, then leave the man's house before the game starts.
That's gold, Jerry. Gold.
In the zone.
Gold indeed. All right, we're 1 for 1. We're off and running. Nothing but bangers this week. New COVID shots coming.
Uh-oh.
So the latest COVID booster proves effective against Eris, the newest variant of the illness. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
In related news, I've recently purchased a single bullet and will be testing its effectiveness and preventing me from having to listen to any more conversations about COVID variants after being administered to my right temple. Enough of these goddamn COVID variants. We fucking get it. They do nothing. Let's end the conversation. All right. Might have oversold some of these jokes. Might have oversold some of these jokes a little bit, boys. Oh, yeah, this one's especially bad, too. Should have kept the mouth shut. Delta flight diverted after passenger suffers severe case of diarrhea. This one is all over. Did you hear about this one?
Literally all over.
Okay. So a Delta flight from Atlanta to Barcelona had to make a U-turn Friday after a passenger suffered a medical issue that turned out to be a case of severe diarrhea. Yeah.
Wow.
Passengers commented, all in all, things could have been worse. At least we didn't have to fly Spirit. At least we didn't have to fly Spirit. 'Cause it's a bad airline.
Worst episode ever.
All right. We're going to ramp it back up here, boys. I'm
All right.
promising some heavy hitters to end things out here. Scientists grow whole model of human embryo without sperm or an egg. This one's pretty fucking wild.
Okay. Okay.
So scientists have successfully grown an entity that closely resembles a real 14-day-old embryo using stem cells. Yeah.
Wow.
This new advancement in biology could eventually replace what has historically been the most successful method of creating embryos: a bottle of Jack Daniels, access to the backseat of an 86 Trans Am, and the ability to convince a woman that you can pull out just in time. You motherfuckers, that one's a banger.
Dang.
You stick, you rat bastard. It's gold material and you know it. I stand behind it. Our droves of fans are busting at the seams right now laughing at home. You're welcome.
Dang.
All right, well, if you didn't like this one or last one, you're gonna fucking love this one. All right. Greek ferry captain and his seaman charged over death of tardy passenger pushed into sea by crew members. Yeah.
You don't even have what the heck? Come on.
Speaking of spider webs and things exploding in different directions, the number of different ways I could have taken this one was bountiful. So I chose the lamest one. A Greek prosecutor brought criminal charges Wednesday against an island ferry captain and 3 of his seamen over the death of a tardy passenger whom crew members pushed into the sea as he tried to board the departing vessel in Greece's main port of Piraeus.
Holy shit. That's actually pretty crazy.
Indeed. An excited Barack Obama, who only saw the ferry captain and his seaman portion of the headline, quickly threw on a gimp mask, said, "That sounds like a blast. How quickly can I get the plane to Greece?"
Why Obama?
There's this whole thing about Obama being gay now. Is the thing.
I know. They're spreading this whole thing about Obama's gay.
We do have an alternate and equally hilarious submission here. You're welcome. It was the most unfortunate outcome caused by 4 seamen since the birth of the Baldwin brothers several decades ago.
All right.
Giving me nothing here, boys. You can all suck my balls. You can all suck my balls.
Fairies and semen, dude. Like, it writes itself. It's just a gay joke.
I'm tempted to just not even shut it down right here.
Please continue.
Not even give you this last one.
Please continue.
What do you think of them apples? Huh?
Thanks.
All right,
No, it's a great joke.
It stinks.
All right, last but not least, I'm all dejected now. See, the creativity, the spark is gone.
That's
There's
right,
no
that's
energy
right.
to feed off.
Just give it some sad delivery.
I just want to work on something. I don't want to create. I just want to work on a drum kit, right? And I want to do the mechanical things. McConnell appears to freeze while speaking with reporters in Kentucky. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell appeared to freeze for about 30 seconds on Wednesday while speaking with reporters after his speech in Covington, Kentucky.
Okay, I've seen a lot of people talking about that. I didn't really know what actually was happening, though.
He just stood there motionless. It was kind of terrifying.
I haven't watched it, but
just deer in the headlights, no words, no nothing, like complete shutdown.
Now, to be fair, I've done that on this show several times where I'm extremely fucked up and completely forget what I'm talking about. So,
yeah, McConnell might have been slamming 40s before the
indeed.
But fortunately, the freezing wasn't the result of a health condition. Rather, he was simply stymied by the question of whether Lizzo has caused more damage to the emotional stability of her backup dancers or the structural stability of her recliner. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your...
Wow.
The Dangerville Podcast presents News of the World.
Oh, man.
Double birds.
Nothing on Brendan Fraser this week.
No, not this week.
Or Burning Man?
B. Fraser gets a week off.
Yeah, what's up with fucking Burning Man at the mudslide?
People are in trouble.
Oh, really? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. Some shit about inclement weather, and people were warned like crazy not to do it, and they tried to like block off roads and stuff, but people went anyway. And the crazy storm like took out everything and
I heard
turned the desert into a mud pit. None of the vehicles
crazy.
can leave, and none of the people can leave, and they're run out of water.
Why do you say people are in trouble? Like they're
because it's like dangerous.
Okay. I thought you meant like somebody's gonna like
no,
get
not
sued
like
or something.
legal
like,
trouble, like physical.
I think it was a
safety
situation where like food and water scarcity, they were
Yeah.
there for much longer than they had to be.
Yeah.
Also, it feels like kind of some bitch-made West Coast desert bullshit. Like, oh, there's a marginal amount of rain. Whatever are we gonna do to get these people out of there? Like,
I think it's much worse than that.
get a goddamn
Sounds pretty
4x4,
bad.
get yourself a Silverado, drive out there and go to work.
Well, it's like out in the desert and they never get rain there, right? I can't imagine
yeah,
that.
I'm breaking
people were-
balls. I'm
yeah.
sure it's a swampy mud pit, but nonetheless, like, I don't know.
Damn.
One would seem they could
Scary.
come up with something. What with the fact that it's 2023 and we have ample modes of transportation with which to
Need hovercrafts.
Yeah, let's get some hovercrafts.
Done
Come
deal,
on,
baby.
people. What are we doing? here?
Hovercraft.
Let's get fucking Elon to his fucking his tunnel to Vegas or whatever out there. You know,
Just reroute the tunnel to under Burning Man. Get him out.
Dude, I heard something wild about Elon. Apparently, this happened like a year ago. I didn't remember hearing about it at the time. Did you hear that Musk like cut the internet access to Ukraine's military when it was trying to do this big attack on a Russian fleet last year?
I thought he was giving them access to Starlink and all that shit.
Indeed, he did. So he gave him access to Starlink. Then somehow, which is an interesting thought in and of itself, how Musk happened upon this information, which I didn't really dawn on me until now, but somehow figured out there was going to be this attack on a Russian fleet. They had these like unmanned submarine drones going to do it, and he straight up fucking killed Starlink. They all washed ashore. Nothing to be done about it.
I chalk that up to not the CEO of the company, right?
Just some rando,
or like probably more complicated than the one guy whose name we associate with the company.
I mean,
pushing a button that says no internet for you.
He's quoted as commenting on it and stuff. Like, I think it's literally that simple. I mean, unless it's some absurd grand master plan, but I think he was like, yeah, I cut it. Like, this thing was meant for, you know, he said his quote was literally what the Starlink was meant to help people watch Netflix and chill and get online for school and do peaceful things, not drone strikes.
Okay, so that's well, I was gonna say, what's his rationale behind this? I thought, like, I don't know, everybody was rah for the fucking Ukrainians fighting the Russians. So.
Yeah, I don't know. This was sometime last year, and he just like said, "Fuck it, this thing is not meant to be a tool of war." Like, I'm all set. So that was pretty crazy.
That's pretty wild. That is fucking wild. That's kind of back to my thing about one man having too much power with him, you know?
He's like, quite literally the villain from Tomorrow Never Dies or whatever that one, where he controls the media and everything else, which...
Yeah.
In some ways, though, my thought process goes to, like, I wish more people with crazy amounts of power or technological control or, like, the means of production or whatever were like, no, we're not going to make tanks for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like, I don't care if you ordered 100 warheads. No.
It was really interesting to read to me, like, political thoughts aside, however you lean, you know, if you're pro-war, anti-war, tabling all of that, the fact that nations are relying on privatized internet, like, really? There's no fucking government thing that runs all this? It's just like, they got to reboot the old router here, and we're offline for a couple. Like that's like a real fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
That's a really wild sort of historical rabbit hole to think about too. Of like, I guess just the long history of government action relying on private corporation.
Well, I think historically it's been a one hand feeds the other thing.
Well,
like,
exactly.
Obviously, profits are going to like kind of speak for themselves, and most people are going to say, "Fuck it, give me that cash, that sweet cash." Mm-hmm. But Musk is filthy rich and kind of a different cat with how he operates altogether. So the fact that he's like, "No, take your money. It's cut off. It's shut down. You're done."
Yeah, and internet is odd too because it's like non-physical. I mean, there's like physical hardware involved. But like that, like as opposed to like a jet or something, like you have to like build the thing, you know? And you just bring the thing to the place where you use it.
Right.
Like the internet's just like floating in the air.
Yeah.
Well, and also, like, it couldn't have been that profitable of a thing, right? Like, I'm not a Starlink expert. My understanding of it is that basically it was like, hey, we're going to do this choice thing to get people internet.
Right.
So that kind of takes money out of the equation as a component of the whole thing, whereas a Boeing or, you know, an insert whatever the fuck thing here that builds planes, bombs, etc., to your point, that's a tangible physical thing that's getting them big profits, so it might not have been. You know.
So I guess he must have, before he hooked him up with Starlink and stuff, it must have been like, he must have said this is not for war or something, or that must have been part of part of the deal or something, or at least that was the thing behind it. Because like my immediate thought on that was like, well, why would he do that? That doesn't, you know. But if he was like, well, this is not for killing people.
Yeah, that totally could be like some stipulated like this. You can communicate. This is for all your whatever GPS and all that, but like no drone strikes.
And also, I mean, if he just gave it to him, you know, like I don't know that there was necessarily a big contract agreement. If he just kind of did something like, fuck it, here's like a choice thing. Here's a toy, play with it, and then, you know,
it's mine. I'll do what I want. you know, kind of
give
thing.
a kid a plastic baseball bat to play wiffle ball, and he starts hitting his brother in the head to take it away from him. You know.
Wow,
Yeah.
good. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Need more wiffle ball analogies, I feel like.
We just need more wiffle ball in general.
Your boy was once one of the finest wiffle ball pitchers in the state of Michigan, to be clear. Dominantly low ERA. So
Wait, does wiffle ball even have a pitcher? I thought you just set it on the
no,
set it on the thing.
we're talking grown ass man wiffle ball. here.
This is a grown man.
We're not
wiffle
talking some
ball.
kids game bullshit. We're talking
Is that the difference between wiffle ball and wiffle t-ball?
we're talking
Oh,
the,
T-ball. That's
T-ball.
okay.
That's
Yeah,
the
T-ball.
KWL, the Kalamazoo Wiffle Ball League, boys. Not for the faint of heart. Not
Really?
for the faint of heart. Fuck yes.
Really?
Shout out Sidewinders, my old crew, my old team, the Sidewinders.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, actually, it kind of does sound like
Oh,
fun.
it's tremendous, boys. Great.
Like, all right, podcast is over. It's wiffle ball time.
Indeed.
Did
Indeed.
you bring your stuff?
Well, we were going off about fucking in Kalamazoo. You can go do curling at the K-Wing Stadium.
Yeah.
That
And
sounds
we were
fun, too.
We're just gonna go get dominant at curling.
Got to be a tremendous amount of fun.
Oh, yeah. It seems great.
It's like, all right, you gonna be the broom guy? And then-
So not quite the same, but speaking of kind of novel experiences or just like doing random shit because it's fun. Had a Saturday off last week or week before, and my lady and I went to John Ball Zoo for the first time in like 20 years, if not more.
yeah.
And then we went to the Hudsonville Fair for monster trucks,
Nice, dude.
and it was
played.
fucking rad.
Yeah,
Nice.
indeed.
We watched some of them break. We watched some of them crash.
Shit, I didn't know that was going on.
We watched a dude.
I'd watch a monster truck.
Kid you not, as part of this monster truck rally, they just like have a regular guy in a helmet and a Jeep Cherokee, like a 2001 Jeep Grand Cherokee,
Right.
and they're like, "We're letting him on the course. He said he doesn't want to drive it home." So whatever, he's whipping the thing around and he goes over a couple of the like, because you know they have like monster trucks and they have mega trucks that are smaller.
Okay.
And then they have like micro monster trucks or mini monsters, right?
Okay.
So they've got kind of like the smally jumps on the outside, bigger ones, and then the huge one in the middle with like the
Right.
van and a whatever in it. So this dude in the Jeep Cherokee makes a couple of little rounds and he hits a couple of like the little ones. He just gets a little bit of air, basically immediately breaks the exhaust off the thing.
Holy shit.
He's drifting around, whatever. Woohoo, yeah, fun. Good job, guy. They do some more shit. They bring Jeep Cherokee guy back out. He's doing the same thing. He's like hitting some of the little jumps. He's whipping around, drifting around. Looks like he breaks part of the fucking drive shaft off the thing. And one of the wheels is looking a little wonky.
Okay.
And he's kind of over by us. And it's like the thing won't quite go in gear right. And he's like trying to get it figured out. Gets it fired up. And this motherfucker goes hauling towards the next size up jump. You could like feel the entire crowd gasp.
yeah.
Holy
And
shit.
I kid you not, dude's Jeep was like 15 feet in the air. 60. Boom! Just launched off this thing.
Christ.
Landed, flat tire, folded up. Rest of the drive shaft comes off. They towed it off.
Yeah.
And he got out and was like, "Whoa!"
Fuck
Freaking out.
yeah. I bet.
For all the monster trucks, for all the most insane thing I saw was that dude
Yeah,
jumping
for
a
sure, dude.
It was like full blown action movie jump. My goodness, I'm amazed he's alive.
That guy's the man.
He was probably,
Played on
he was
that
probably
guy.
so
For
sore.
sure, dude.
Yeah.
know what
but
I mean?
Next day was probably
Oh,
rough.
yeah, so rough. My dude's spine was not okay after that jump.
Man, one time we fucking actually at the day job, a guy who was working there at the time, he was gonna go do a fucking demolition derby.
Yeah.
And so we like put stickers and shit on it. He fucking went out and did that shit. That was pretty fucking wild. I saw we went to you guys remember Thunder Nationals? Is what they called it. Thunder Nationals.
Is that the dirt track?
No, it was like a touring like monster truck show.
Yeah.
Oh.
And,
Okay.
and they did it at the Van Andel, and my fucking homies got free ticket. It might have actually been fucking. I think Joel Camp was there from Pigeon Hill.
Yeah.
We were just talking about him earlier because we're drinking Pigeon Hill. they won him on the radio or some shit. So, and we were like 8th grade or something. and it was in like the box, like the, what do you call it? Like the skybox or whatever, or one of the like private boxes or whatever. And we were just like, it's like, holy shit. But they had the fucking jet rocket bike. The motorcycle with the jet engine on it.
I've seen the truck, but not the bike.
Dude, the guy on the bike with the thing. This thing still might be to this day the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life. And they're all fucking loud, first of all. Like, that shit indoors, too, like, it's fucking loud. But that fucking thing, it's that super high-pitched, like, woo, and, like, it was, like, you couldn't even, like, be, like, in, like, we had to, like, go in the box. You know what I mean? Like, and shut the door kind of thing or whatever. You watch out of the glass.
Wasn't that how Leno scorched himself? Was on a jet engine rocket bike, if I'm not mistaken?
God, I hope so. I kind of don't think it was,
there
but
were a
man, I
couple
hope
of things.
so.
I think there was one incident with like a fire in the a car in his garage, but there was another one where I'm pretty sure
it was an old steam engine, like the opposite.
And the opposite of a jet.
Yeah, like it was like some old fucking crazy steam car or some shit, and he was underneath it wrenching on it, and the fucking steam came out, and that's what burned him.
In any event, it was either a fusion powered futuristic cycle
Flying
or a
car.
steam engine.
No, it's more of a steam thing. You see this? Yeah.
The monster trucks were hilarious. So maybe the most like American thing I've ever seen.
It truly is a fucking like American thing.
It's just so excessive.
It's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
One other quick hitter here I saw today. Did you guys see Danny Masterson, hide from
Oh yeah, that's been a whole thing for a long time.
Yeah,
he got
those rape
sentenced
charges
finally
or
though.
whatever.
Yeah.
30 years.
Oh.
30 years.
Good.
Not eligible for parole for
What did he do? He raped a
25 and
couple
half
girls or
years.
something?
It just all kinds of awful shit like that.
Wow.
Accused of 3, convicted of 2. Ooh. Yeah, dude. 30
Yeah.
years.
All
Fucking
kinds of terrible
wild.
shit.
Yeah, not good. Well, I guess he won't be joining the that 90s show reunion or whatever the goddamn shit they're doing now, or that 80s show, or what is it they're doing now? That 90s
they
show.
got a
isn't it?
90s show.
I don't know,
now. Yeah,
man.
there was an
Yeah.
80s show one that came
You're not
out
watching
for a
every
while back.
episode of that 90s show?
No. I'm trying to ignore that shit.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Red Foreman
Fuck
remains.
that. Oh, Jesus Christ. The
No.
shit they make that nobody wants to see.
Yeah, I know. I don't want any part of that.
Are you watching anything? You into any shows or anything right now, or it's
I'm
too busy?
super, super stuck on What We Do in the Shadows.
Everybody, yeah, man. Our fucking good friend Swan, fucking, he knows his comedy, and he was like, it might be the funniest show like ever made.
It is one of my favorite shows ever made.
Yeah.
But part of it, so like it's like mockumentary style, right?
Yeah.
And so what we were Mallory, my lady, and I were talking about like right when we started watching it, it immediately conjures like The Office and Trailer Park Boys, right? As
Right.
this like that a look at the camera bumping into the guy with the boom mic is like part of the
okay.
gag, right? Like
okay. I didn't know that.
It's
Yeah.
a documentary. There's a camera crew
Yeah.
is part of the shtick of the show. So like, all right, in The Office, that's a great setting for a type of show like that. If you've worked in offices, there's like weird people and the weird, jobby shit.
Yeah.
Same as like Trailer Park Boys. You get these like wild criminal, like rednecky or whatever, like hijinks ensue.
Yeah.
They're drinking, they're stoned all the time, whatever. So think about that, but vampires.
Yeah.
and the well of jokes that you get out of turning into a bat and crosses and garlic and this undead thing and vampire hunters and zombies and wraiths and like it just opens the whole like supernaturally horror world
Yeah.
to slapsticky documentary humor.
Right.
So like the amount of jokes that they can get through or the number of silly situations that they can, like the ongoing feud with the werewolves on Staten Island. Like, and they fucking hate each other. And it's this like, it's just over and over and over.
The
again.
amount of jokes
Gotta
per
start watching that
capita
shit.
and the raw comedic value is rivaled only by the news segment of Dangerville podcast, to be sure.
That dude's the one guy's Flight of the Conchords or something.
Yeah,
right?
it's Jermaine. Yeah, Jermaine. I can't remember his last
Clement
name.
or
Yeah,
Clement?
Clement
Yeah.
and Taika Waititi
Okay.
are the creator dudes, and they're both in the movie.
Right. Yeah. There's a movie too or something.
Yeah, that's older.
Right.
And it's kind of the same premise.
Yeah.
But different characters in the show.
Oh, okay. I got you. I didn't know that. I saw Flight of the Conchords at Bonnaroo though. At the Bonnaroo that we were at.
A live thing.
Yeah, they
Nice.
played in the comedy tent.
Oh, cool.
Did you see any of the comedy down
No.
there at Bonnaroo?
No.
I caught. We caught a few things. We caught that. We caught David Cross, who fucking. I think actually came on stage briefly during Tool's set because him and Maynard are like really tight.
Weirdos. Fellow weirdos.
Well, yes, seriously. And Tom Morello came out and played that solo during Tool's set as well. That was huge. And then we saw. Do you know Frank Black? He's like a political comedian. He was on the Daily Show all the time.
Yeah,
You know Frank Black?
yeah.
He's always kind of yelling.
Yeah.
Like
Not Frank Black, Lewis Black.
Lewis Black.
Yeah.
You got Frank Black's the dude from the Pixies. The
Yes.
band The Pixies.
Yeah.
Not the same person. Definitely not the same person. Yeah, but anyway, so I totally caught. And then fucking you know what phased the shit out of me is that Jermaine Clement dude is in the new Avatar.
Oh, weird.
Avatar 2.
Ah,
Yeah.
is he one of the people? Like one of the
Yes.
evil? Is he the evil ship gunman guy? Is
No,
that him?
he's
I've intentionally
like,
not watched that movie.
He's
not
like
great.
the fucking scientist that's working with the evil people guy who's sort of like, I'm not actually evil. I'm just kind of doing my job and I got to do, like, I'm in bed with these people because that's the only way I can do my work as a scientist.
Isn't that movie like 5 hours long?
Bro, it was just
It's a 3-hour
bad.
stink fest.
It was
dude.
just bad. Ugh.
I remember watching the first Avatar movie and I was like relatively on board with it. Like, all right, we're doing okay. It's a sci-fi thing. It's pretty.
Well, it was an
You know?
exercise in technical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, and I'm trying to remember, is it Giovanni Ribisi?
Yeah.
That's the like villain guy.
Yeah.
They're talking about the fucking mineral and then they say its name. And I was like, I'm out. This movie sucks.
I can't remember what it was. It was something stupid. Unobtainium, yeah.
I was like, nope. Yeah. Absolutely not. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
I got some of the finest creative minds on that one there.
Like, nobody, none of the 5,000 people it took to make this movie was like, hey, that's a dumb name.
That's like the classic gag from the writer's room where the one guy goes, hey, why don't we just call it unobtainium? Yeah. He's joking, and then everybody's like, you got anything better?
We'll give you guys the afternoon to think about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So unobtainium it is then.
Took me all the way out of it.
Yeah, no, that movie was pretty not great. But at the time, it was like an exercise in fucking filmmaking, and it was like that alone was super impressive. But it's not that impressive 15 years later anymore, you know?
Though I guess some of the stuff in the new one kind of similarly ambitious. Or
there's lots of killer visuals and shit. But, it's kind of like, okay, we've kind of seen it all at this point, and like...
Or at this point, like, the incremental improvements.
Yeah, yes.
Right? So, like, when the first one came out,
it was like
if
next
CG,
level.
If CG before that, you couldn't do all this like 3D face model, full digital world, whatever. Well, now half the movies that come out are that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Even if the new one is groundbreaking,
yeah,
it's like
it's just less impressive because it's oversaturated or whatever. And then you couple that with like it's kind of like not that great of a story and stuff too. And it's just kind of like
that even like our eyes like can't see the ultra fine difference that say the people like in the industry can or whatever.
Right.
Because it's already super good.
Yeah.
I think it's too high up the hyperbolic curve or whatever.
I think it really just
where
comes
it's going
down
up
to
forever, but it's only
It's diminishing returns.
yeah,
at
like
this
diminishing
point, to be
returns,
sure.
right?
And the story was just like
They can swim now.
The acting was just like, oh man, like this is kind of cringy.
Sure.
But I cried at the end. So Well, okay, on that note. Anything else we forgot to talk about? I feel like there was fucking something else that I wanted to talk about, but I completely spaced on what that was. Oh, I do remember, real quick. I went and saw our friend Adam Deggy at the comedy store.
Yeah.
Not the comedy store, the comedy club here in Grand Rapids. He was on the podcast, I don't know, what, 2 months ago?
A couple months back.
Something
Dr.
like that.
Grins,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he headlined Dr. Grins. We went out and caught his set, so shout out to Adam.
Shout out Adam Deggy. It's prime time.
It was really good. Like, he fucking had some really solid material.
Did he give us a plug?
Of course. No, they but what was super funny though for real is the fucking MC that brings him out. He goes, did we tell you this already? Yeah, he goes just like, Adam Deggy's played here and here, he's like giving it, and then he goes, and he's also done like literally every podcast in the world. And I was like, oh,
Tight.
yeah, indeed.
Some real bottom of the barrel shit.
I aspire to that.
Yeah, indeed.
This man will shamelessly stoop to any depth, do any piece of shit podcast in the greater Grand Rapids area.
I aspire to that.
For sure. So, all right, let's fucking wrap it up, boys.
Hell yeah. Good hanging with you dudes.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming back out.
Yeah, good
Check him out. Well, shit. That gig tomorrow will be done. Any other gigs you want to plug? Anything?
When's this one coming out?
Couple days.
I don't know. There's stuff in September. I'm playing a couple of sub gigs with Why Not. Flex is about done for the year. Human Conditions playing at the Tip Top Deluxe on October 13th.
Well, just go to Mike Schertenlieb, Schertenlieben.com.
No, plug it everywhere. I'm Mux Mike all over the internet.
There you go.
MUXMIKE.
All right.
You can always find me.
Cool. Thanks for coming out, brother.
For sure.
Peace.
Peace.